Record.
You hit record. You hit record.
Ah!
I have 2 cases for maps and scrolls.
Awesome.
Does that mean,
what an overachiever.
I
you don't wanna
have
mix up your
5 sheets. I have 5 sheets of paper.
You don't want to mix up your map case with your scroll case. If you threw them all together, it'd be like, all right, this is my 5. Oh no, this is just the interior of a Denny's.
Why do I have the map of an interior of a Denny's? That's for you to find out and me to know.
Y'all, I have soap.
That's important.
I think I have soap too.
Well,
you need soap.
To not be
stinky.
That's a lot to drop on me right now, Gwen.
I meant to tell you earlier if it work.
Okay, hold on. I need to read this.
I can do it. It doesn't have to. I can do it another time.
Oh, I don't have soap.
Haha, stinky.
Haha, stinky.
I'm looking this up. Give me a second. Because if you want to, I think it's very cool. I just need to mentally prepare for this.
I know. I meant to tell you after the session last week, and then I have been working since the last session.
Hold on. What? How do you spell? Hold on. I must have misspelled. Give me a second. I need to look at that. What is it called? It's called. Oh, it's with the U. Okay. I
don't have soap.
What?
All y'all stinky bitches.
I don't know. Yeah. I have forks.
You got some forks?
I've got a mess kit. It's got forks and knives and spoons and...
Yeah, me too. That's what I have.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Explorer Pack Solidarity.
Explorer Pack Solidarity.
I got a Diplomat's pack.
Ooh.
Have a bottle of ink and an ink pen.
Alright, do I burn my rose incense or my apple incense tonight?
Rose.
Apple.
Fuck.
Fuck. Somebody tie break. Somebody.
Wait. Even it's rose, odd, it's apple.
Alright.
Alright, that's odd, apple.
Apple.
It's very in character for Jubilee. I bet she smells like an apple.
Probably even more so now that they're growing off of me.
Alright. Are we?
Hey, you want some of my hair fruit?
Dude, I'm just
Romeo's probably smells bad. Not on purpose, it's just he bleeds a lot.
Yeah, no, you smell like metal.
He smells like fucking metal.
Can we just have a session where we get like a bath or something like that?
Now.
Dude,
let's do it. Let's go.
This session, you guys will get an opportunity to bathe. I promise.
All right, Mel, you say that.
Just like in High Rollers.
I'll believe it. I'll believe you when I see it.
You'll get an opportunity if you choose the wrong Telltale options. You won't get to bathe for weeks.
All right, can we get going?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. All right.
We're already recording. It's you.
Yeah, we're already recording.
Go ahead, like I wasn't the one. Okay. All right. You've already started recording, so hey guys, welcome back to episode 3 of Starless Nights. I'm really excited for this session. It's going to be a little different than our other ones, a little less mortally terrifying, hopefully. And to start off,
air quotes.
We'll see.
Scare quotes, more like it.
Hey!
So, as is tradition, let's just introduce our characters briefly from left to right.
Okay.
Hey, if you guys are here without watching the other ones, there's some shit that was missed, but I guess don't worry about it. I'm Roob. This is Romeo. He's a dude. He's got an axe. No, definitely normal.
Okay. Nilla.
I am Nilla. I just scarfed an entire loaf of bread, and I'm playing Auraleia.
God, I wish that were me.
You don't. You really don't.
I'm
Percy.
I'm playing Percy. If you've heard of Marina and the Diamond song, that's Percy. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Makes a playlist and it's just Marina and the Diamonds album.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I am Gwendolyn. I am playing Jubilee, a halfling cleric.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. Should I have said more?
No.
Yeah, you could have made a funny joke, but that's fine. You don't.
I didn't have any
funny.
bits. Nature domain.
Nature
Smells
domain.
like apple.
Smells like weed. Try.
No.
What? Weed?
Introduce yourself, Puns.
Oh, yeah.
Try smunk weed.
I made the three fingers joke last time. I'm the fighter. Out of your
Whose
friends,
name
which one
is?
are you? I'm the fighter. but I'm also dipsy.
You're also up here.
No.
We're all
the
up
one-
here. We all have to take turns on the appear.
I'm not. I'm just a
No,
normal
you know the bottom. The out of your friends, which one are you? The bottom left panel. That's Try. Try is also.
We all.
All right.
Okay, all right. And with that, I think we're going to start the session. So let me get this chill music out of here. Let's get the real shit going. Hold on, I gotta take a sippy. Oh,
Violent sippy.
Okay.
What was
The sippy strikes back.
The sock I have over my mic fell in my tea.
Oh no. Mel, you drink tea?
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Not
Let me-
anymore.
no, it's fine. It doesn't, like, I didn't wear the sock before I
It's
put it
not
on
a
my
bad
mic.
sock. It's not a
All
bad
right.
sock.
All right. Come on.
Okay,
come on.
we're starting. We're starting. And away we go. Might have to adjust your volume again. Before a void devoid of light, before a day devoid of night, before the cold of evening last, you all press on against the past. Last time on Starless Nights, you all continued your trek deeper and deeper into the mountains that form Nerith's spine towards the underground city of Marm's Pithy. After coming together and speaking as a group, you all decided you would continue your journey forward in order to uncover the mysteries behind these strange metal nails that you found embedded in the skulls of several natives to the Pithy that you encountered on your travel towards it. Percy expressed dismay at her supposed uselessness after losing the ability to use her arm, being an archer of the famed Vidal family known for its archery prowess. It was also revealed during this discussion that Percy's strengths in archery weren't due to prowess with a bow, but with a mixture of magic that spun in tandem with the use of her arcane focus, a bow interlaid with glowing gems of various colors and shapes. After the rest of the group expressed belief in her utility and realizing that she couldn't return home in her current state, the party began its march into the maw of the earth. Whilst traveling, Percy made a realization upon looking at the group. The shards from their battle earlier with the large winged creature were still lodged in their bodies, only now they were twinkling and glowing with a dim blue light. Upon discovering that they were unable to be removed naturally, Percy, using Detect Magic, discovered that these shards had a similar magical quality to the aforementioned skull nails, only they didn't seem to be controlling them. After another hour or so of walking, they came across a broken trade caravan that they were sent to recover. The party discovered a single corpse within, as well as the remains of 2 horses, all picked clean of meat, with only their skeletons remaining. The party also found several useful items amongst the wreckage, including a pair of hand wraps that Auraleia found that had a note inside, clearly meant for her eyes only. Oops, I muted. Sorry about that. Where am I in my notes? I'm so sorry. As they scavenged, Romeo heard the sounds of potential hostiles approaching and, after ambushing their would-be attackers, found them to not be as they initially seemed. Firstly, the armored knights that were not, in fact, actually armored, but instead covered in a chitinous exoskeleton of metal with those same bolts in the backs of their necks. Similarly, smaller versions of the bird-like creature they encountered the day prior that were a part of this assault were present, only they were slightly more refined and less volatile than their predecessor. Percy, using her familiarity with the nature of this kind of creature, deduced that they were intelligent constructs, although she was unable to pinpoint their origin. Continuing their march, the party came across a young dwarf calling herself Carbuncle, claiming that she was to prevent anybody from entering the pithy. The party, seeing that same black fluid the birds earlier that they had encountered bled, that Percy had identified as oil, was dripping from her hair, gave her some space and led themselves backward to convene about their plan of approach. After receiving heartwarming reassurance from the rest of the party that she was a genuinely competent and intelligent leader, Percy began a ritual to cast Detect Magic in order to properly understand what was going on with Carbuncle. In the meantime, Romeo was visited again by his cryptic ally, who bid him to find them deeper within the pithy, vanishing shortly after without a trace. Upon returning to Carbuncle, she became furious as she realized what Percy was attempting to do, rushed the party with extreme force, and transformed into a massive beast made of metal and intertwining locks of hair. And during this skirmish, Romeo received a head injury at the hands of another strange construct, losing the ability to feel or move his leg. After defeating and capturing the now unconscious Carbuncle, the party continued forward before finally reaching their destination. Marm's Pithy.
Woo!
Yeah, quite a recap, you guys.
Big shitty.
Oh, you're important?
My port?
You're important.
Yeah, that's my new thing.
You are important.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, you're divine.
Oh fuck, my nothing rolls nothing.
We will address that actually in the beginning of the session, but for now, let me hit the music. So,
Screensaver at bad time. Hey Mel, what's a pithy?
I'm not going to go over this again. I refuse. I refuse.
We went over it before?
It was talked about before. Listen, it's fine.
What's a marm?
What is a marm?
So, after
I
your...
assume that is the proper noun. I guess
your
Marm's pithy itself is the proper noun.
Okay, I'm gonna give you all just a little... Do you want to make any more fun observations?
I'm done.
Observational humor, anybody?
I'm done. I was just buying time while I put on my house socks.
Okay, alright.
Mouse socks.
So, please.
Let Mel GM.
After... Okay. After your treacherous trip down to the Pithy, you all took relief in your final arrival, taking a well-earned rest before figuring out what to do the following morning. As you all rouse to consciousness, you can feel the heat rising from the lava flows far below, followed by a cool breeze blowing in from the various caverns dotting the roof of this massive cavern above. The lava boils and bubbles, gently flowing in circles around the city you've been seeking for several days now. The sheer size of the Pithy was made known to all of you before your journey began, but it is another thing altogether as you stare at the monolith of stone and metal you see before you. Elegant and brutalist architecture all coming together as one unified figure against the red sheer rock face that surrounds it. And let's just go from what are you guys doing as you wake up today? Let's start with, I think, Percy. Let's start with Percy.
So, I think she wakes up and she goes directly for her spell book, which is not something she does often. And I think she's going to seeing the city before her and hoping to all gods that there's at least some people down there, she's going to ritual cast Unseen Servant to help her get ready.
Okay, all right. So as you reach for your spell book to do this little ritual casting, you feel something. You feel something, and it is not where you would expect to feel it. You would have assumed that this was like maybe the crystals or something, as you feel this like almost peeling sort of sensation at the back of your neck. And as you're reaching for the book, you also notice your hands are like coated in ink. It is incredibly like instead of yesterday morning where it was just like your fingertips, it is like your hands are just covered in it. What do you do?
I'm going to see if I've got ink anywhere else.
So you're flipping open the book now, and you're looking for Unseen Servant, trying to ignore this like itching feeling at the back of your neck. And you look through the pages, and it looks like a child was almost like finger painting. Except it's almost this feral and animalistic type thing. There are scrawlings across like entire what would be the equivalent of chapters, and you just see all of these spells that you had been like contemplating and trying to figure out, more advanced ones than you were even considered capable of doing, even from your own relatively like relatively self kind of applauding sort of perspective. They are complete, Percy.
I reach up to touch the back of my neck.
You reach up to touch the back of your neck, and it feels like as you reach back, there is a stinging sensation. Like it's as if somebody had like prodded you in a like sensitive, like almost an orifice in your body, and you reel back. And as you close your eyes in like the sudden pain, you see something, Percy. But it's not from your own perspective. It is the perspective you think of the back of your neck, as all you see is this like field of white long hair just covering your entire field of vision.
Oh my god. Percy is going like she tries to blink that away, tries to undo that.
You blink that away, but now you're not seeing from any perspective. Instead, you are situated above, and I mean above. Like you are far above where you are currently in this pithy, and your eye is looking down at the scene below. But it isn't the city you see before you. Not really. You just see these shapes. And you start to realize that some of these shapes are you guys from what you've recognized with Detect Magic before and sort of how you all look. And it's almost as if you're watching something at like 8 times speed as you watch yourself zoom across the bridge and then deeper and deeper into the city before taking this weird, intricate, like zigzagging pattern somewhere towards the left. And then you blink again and you are back. And you are seeing through your own eyes.
I am going to, one, make sure that no one saw me space the fuck, or I think what she'd do is fix her hair over the back of her neck immediately, not even looking at whatever the fuck that is.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And then cast her spell. It's kind of like looking around and like keeping note of whatever just happened, but not really willing to tell anybody about it yet.
Okay, that's fair. Now, when you cast Unseen Servant, the servant is normally invisible to even you, yes?
Let me see. I'm pretty sure, yes, it is complete. Invisible.
Invisible, mindless,
it's
shapeless
a force.
It's a force. Normally, it is a force. But Percy, as you cast the spell, you see something different. Normally, there's like wisps of like purplish magic when you cast this spell in particular. Instead, what happens is as you're finishing drawing this circle in the dirt, this plume of purple that rises up starts to take shape. And the shape is mildly disconcerting. It is stark white. And I'm talking not even like Romeo white, where he is like albino. It is white like a bedsheet, like a blank canvas white. You see the hovering torso of a otherwise humanoid figure with a face that holds no expression. And it has the texture of like this almost fine rocky granite, and it just sort of looks at you.
Dismissed.
Goes away, it is gone.
No. And she puts her spellbook away. And she does her makeup and her hair regularly.
Fucking mood.
All right, that's fair. Romeo, what are you doing?
Me? Oh, me. Romeo, first of all, tries to get up, falls down, remembers his leg doesn't work, grabs his quarterstaff and gets up with assistance.
I think it's a little different than what you described, because you're getting up, and part of you does recognize that there is something wrong with your leg as you're getting up. And so as you try to get to your feet, you are shocked initially to the point of falling forward onto your face as you spring up to your feet like it was fucking nothing. And it's so quick that it's jarring, and you just right onto the ground below you.
It's like he anticipated for it to be slower.
To be harder, yeah.
And harder to do, that he just kind of...
Your other foot, by the way, did not move this entire time, at least not of your own volition. It was the one leg that was, like, supporting you just kind of brought you up, and now you're back down with a mouthful of, like, dust that has been kicked up from the ground. This look of confusion on your face.
Doesn't have enough int to put together what the fuck's going on. I guess I'll do what I was gonna do anyways. He plans to train, essentially, this morning, getting used to the weight of having to only fight and work with one foot, or one leg.
Okay.
That was his plan. This doesn't really change it. If anything, it makes it more important.
As you are getting up and, like, doing this,
and getting ready and shit,
you feel something that is a little shocking. You would think that your which leg is it that is not working? I didn't ask, so I feel like
Romeo is left-handed. Most of his shit is on his left side. I believe it's his right leg that I decided on.
Yeah,
okay,
it's the opposite of mine.
So your right leg is still completely unfeeling, and you assume that because of the extra pressure you were having to put on your left, even with the walking staff, obviously you would still kind of end up leaning more on the one leg that can support you just by like habit. One, it is incredibly sore, like more sore than you could have imagined. But that is not what's really concerning to you. It's that there is a specific strange soreness. It feels kind of like, what is it called? A Charlie horse, or like a horse bite in the back of your thigh. And it feels like it is swelling even as you're like moving and training and growing in size. And then you start to feel something dripping down the back of that leg.
Dripping is an immediate, okay, gotta check this. Shit's dripping, that's wrong. That means there's fuck shit going on.
So how exactly are you doing this? I assume you're squirreling away kind of to deal with this?
Yeah. Not in so much of a way of, like...
hiding it as you are in polite company and it would be fucking weird to throw your pants off.
Yeah.
Just around a bunch of people. Okay. You, get behind the caravan and you start kind of like... You're like taking your pants off and you're trying to get a good look at this because it's in a very inconvenient place. And so you reach down and touch where it is and you feel that same wetness and you bring it to your face and there is nothing there. And as you like smell your hand, there is a strong smell of something that you are very familiar with. And you don't know how. It is this smell of like copper that normally accompanies blood, but it has this like sulfurous undertone that as you like inhale, it fills your lungs and your entire body, and you have to take a moment as like everything from your chest like down, it just feels like you're suddenly getting amped up and everything tightens for a moment, and then it's gone. Let's move over to Auraleia. Auraleia, what are you doing this morning?
Aura got up actually kind of early today. Instead of doing her usual meditation, she just woke up, left the general area of the group, and immediately started doing yoga stretches to kind of warm herself up for the day and keep an eye on the entrance to the pithy.
Okay. As you are doing this, as you are stretching and getting up, you feel great. Like when you get a full night's sleep, obviously you get up and you feel refreshed. You feel like $1,000,000. This is the best sleep that you have ever had. It is like your body is full of this energy, and as you're kind of like doing these stretches, you now start to consciously see yourself floating off of the ground just ever so slightly as you are doing them. And then you start to feel like this wind, and it's just sort of whipping around you, hovering around you. And as you're doing these stretches and moving, it feels like you are pushing these gusts around you with every single movement that you make. And it feels almost like an extension of yourself, this wind.
Huh. I take a look at the crystal in my throat.
It is brighter than it was yesterday. That you for sure notice. It is like, instead of like this glittering sort of thing that it had before, it is like actually glowing.
She pinches the bridge of her nose very tightly and just kind of sits down in defeat.
Me too, bruh.
It's been so weird recently. She doesn't have the brain.
Every time we wake up, there's 500 new problems.
Jubilee, let's move over to you.
I think
Gwen said BRB phone.
I've got
Oh.
You're back? Okay, good. All right.
No, I'm not back. I've got to run over to drop off my car real quick.
Okay, how long are you going to be thereabouts?
8 to 10 minutes tops.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine. I know how to deal with that. Don't worry. Jubilee is still sound asleep as you all are getting up, and it's
It's the trauma.
it's a very deep-seated sleep. Like, you can't seem to rouse her. She's still breathing fine, but it's sort of like she's
I don't think
very.
anyone would try
So
to wake her up.
normal.
I don't think anyone would try to wake her up. We had a long day, dude. Let her sleep.
Let her
And
sleep.
then, Try. Let's move over to you.
I think Try would probably be one to. They don't actually wake up all. They don't just like wake up in like a robotic jolt. They actually wake up at like a kind of early, just kind of not late, not early, just average when anyone else would wake up.
Mhm.
Try probably starts getting ready and then goes and checks on the goblins.
Okay, you're getting up and you're checking on the goblins, and as you do that, you see more scars on your hands, and that's like normal. You would assume, like, after fighting, you probably got nicked in a couple places you didn't notice, and stuff like that. But as you're looking at your hands, Try, one of your hands, not both of them, the one that you hold a weapon in specifically, you start to see these little nubs. You're looking at where your fingers used to be, and there's growth. Try. There are these short, stubby appendages, and as you like feel them, you can feel a bit of bone in it connected to your knuckle. Try. You were starting to grow your fingers back.
Try
Bruh?
just kind of stops checking on the goblin and goes and checks on their new fingers. Just kind of sits down and starts trying to like feel things with them or like press into them.
As you guys are all doing your various things, you notice Try sort of walking around, and they're opening and sort of closing their hand. And these little nubs, Try, they move. You can feel them. They are moving. And as you're kind of like examining them and staring in wonder, you're looking at the hilt of them, where they sort of end, and you see just a little bit of crystal poking out of the end.
Try rubs the back of their head.
You rub the back of their head, and you feel that clump back there. And as you're kind of feeling around it, Try it has gotten a little bigger, just a little bit, enough to be noticeable, not enough to make it like it's not like this giant like huge spike or anything. It is just enough for you to notice.
Try decides to jog back over to the group.
Okay.
Try kind of looks around and then looks at Percy.
Percy's probably the only one who's, like, central. Romeo's still behind a cart.
I think Percy is finishing putting on her makeup at this point, struggling with one hand because she was planning on having the unseen servant do that, but that was fucked up and she's not dealing with that right now. She just woke.
Try walks over to Percy.
Yes.
Do you have paper?
Yes, maybe. I'm gonna check the paper that I have in my. It's not my book. It's just. Did I scribble on that too?
Real quick, how long was I muted for?
Oh no.
Not.
I came over.
Okay, I don't know how I got muted then. So sorry, what were you saying?
If my paper, my non-spellbook paper got scribbled on.
Your non-spellbook paper? Like, what do you mean? Like the
I
other
have
papers
5
you're
sheets
carrying?
of paper in a diplomat's pack. I'm just making sure I didn't write on all my shit.
No, you didn't write on all your shit. It seems to be localized in your spellbook as you're flipping through it.
Good.
You do notice one thing, though, as you're, like, flipping through everything and making sure. At the very back of your spellbook, the back page, the page you leave untouched just because for, organizational purposes. I assume Percy's the type who likes to...
Percy has a very organized spell, which is why all this shit in her spellbook is just a little bit pissed. Like, she's glad that...
She's glad she figured it out, but also...
She is not liking how unorganized this piece of shit's getting.
It is messy, Percy. It is not unorganized.
It still doesn't look good. Percy's got good handwriting.
It doesn't look good. It does not look like your handwriting. Again, it looks like, finger painting.
But
pretty elegant for finger painting, but still it's basically finger painting.
But back my spellbook?
Back of your spellbook, you see something mildly disturbing. It is at first you kind of have to squint to make out what it is because it looks sort of like a bunch of runes. And then you realize that it's kind of like a trick eye puzzle, and you unfocus your eyes, remembering how your father has taught you to figure these out, and you see a gigantic eye across the page that is just staring at you.
Percy looks at this, closes her spell book, takes the paper out of her pack. Yeah, no, I have some paper. I give Try 1 sheet of paper. Do you need a pen or something?
Oh, yeah, I should.
She pulls out an ink pen with a little bottle of ink.
Try grasps the pen and like kind of fumbles with it, but just ends up like how you would grip a staff. Just that's how they grab the pen.
Like full meat hand.
Do you need me to write something down for you?
Aren't you busy?
No, I just finished. She looks at her spellbook again.
Yeah. Try passes her the paper and kind of sits down next to her.
She puts the paper on her knees and holds up with one hand. All right, yeah. What do you need?
Could you write Auraleia, Aurora on there?
Oh, this letter to somebody?
It's just I need to keep track of some things.
Oh, all right. And she writes Aurora on the paper.
Crystal finger.
Oh. Percy writes the C and then looks over at Tryers.
Mel's BRB, but...
I know what they look like.
You know what they look like.
That's new?
It's very new.
Okay.
Worryingly new.
Yes. Well, I mean, the crystal was already in our brain area, so it's not technically an advancement if it's in your fingers. Percy writes down what you said to write. So it might not be that bad. She like finishes writing the crystal, puts the pen down, and just like fixes her hair over her neck again. No.
Well, I've been telling Aurora's been taking care of me, and so I figured I'd write any major changes.
Okay. Do you mind if I write down a little bit more details about what the crystals were?
Yeah. Try like points out their hands.
Yeah, I'll just scribble down some details, and Percy's
I'm back.
just going.
Sorry, what happened? What
basically, we're just having a conversation.
So
about
Try has asked Percy to write down stuff out of the letter to Aurora, and has just said crystal fingers.
And now Percy is going to elaborate on what she knows about the crystals, and put in the crystals are like put in what she can observably see about and what she knows, because she wants to give whoever the fuck Try is living with
any level of like
than just
other than just crystal fingers.
But she's just gonna scroll that down super quick.
Okay, cool. What is everybody else doing? Gwen is not back, I don't think, right?
Probably not.
No, okay. What are you two doing, Romeo and Auraleia? Let's go for Romeo first while this is happening.
Please put your pants back on.
Please, before you head back to the group, I would appreciate it.
Almost doesn't. Then
Romeo
because he's stupid. I fucking will.
Do it.
He's having more trouble with the leg than with the pants.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I gotta wait. Hold on. Wait.
Because he was so off-put by there's new shit happening, my leg doesn't work, all that, and then he's like, wait a minute.
I think
these people aren't my family. I can't walk around in my boxers.
I think what also gets you is as you're getting up to go do that, you're still not used to like the way your like leg works. So you're like stumbling around.
Just a fucking mess behind the cart, stumbling around, no pants on.
You trip on your pants almost for a second, and you're like, oh, probably need these.
He's just a fucking mess.
He's a mess right now. That's so fair.
He's trying his best to not be a mess, but
with some difficulty, you manage to get your pants on. It's still a little hard because you're still kind of getting used to it, but you manage to get them on.
And you generally need both hands to put on your pants, which means there's less balance on your leg.
You all, as you're like doing whatever, maybe out of the corner of your periphery, you notice that the cart is kind of rocking a little bit. As Romeo, you on the other side, you're like trying to lean up against the cart and use your support, and also like manage to get the pants off your leg.
God, he's so stupid.
I think with a 10 on perception, you see something weird is happening. I
don't.
Sure.
Look, it is early in the morning. Percy doesn't care right now.
Percy doesn't give a shit. That's so fair.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. What's Aura doing?
She's face down in the child's pose right now, just absolutely eating dirt.
What's
she does
the
not want to
pose?
move.
Oh, just lying down like this.
Okay.
Fucking mood.
So
everything moves whenever she moves, and she doesn't like it. She just wants it to stay still.
Yeah, it is kind of nauseating a little bit, Auraleia. It's actually, and as you start thinking about something that might be a sort of similar experience of weightlessness, that only makes you more nauseous, and you're like, now you're just head first in the dirt trying to think of anything else, as you all see Romeo kind of with his pants half on, half off, like they're sort of riding up one of his legs. He's stumbling like forward, trying to hold the staff, trying to hold his pants up from behind the cart as he walks forward into the clearing.
Good morning, Romeo.
Morning. Just like the finger guns. And trying
to... Your pants start to fall down as you do the finger guns.
Uh-oh.
Percy just puts her head in her hands and just smiles. Alright, okay.
Pointedly not looking.
That's not the
It's
weird
not like
thing
he's
happening.
fucking naked underneath
Yeah,
his pants. He's got
it's just-
boxers and shit, but he's a little bit of a dumb mess today.
Romeo does not freeboot it.
Alright, so you've
Wait,
got
is that
crystal-
Gwen?
No.
Never mind. I
No.
thought I heard Gwen.
Alright, so they've got crystal fingers. I think anything new, Romeo? Oh, don't say there's actually something new. It was a rhetorical question. Oh god.
I cannot tell you.
No.
I mean, you're not my doc. You don't have to know.
That's an intimidating statement. Yeah, sure.
I
tell
mean,
me.
it's probably better to get a second pair of eyes on it since it's on the back of my leg. So I
Oh,
can't
okay.
really, see it.
Okay. Actually, she kind of like puts her hand up to her hair. Okay. I might actually need a favor from you too.
You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yes. Percy stands up, dusts herself off with one hand. Okay. And just goes over to where Romeo is, like, kind of behind the curtain.
Romeo has sat down and has adjusted himself now properly.
Alright, the back of your leg, injured one or the uninjured one?
Left.
The
Okay.
uninjured one, yeah.
I look, what's up?
Percy, you're like.
Yeah, he like
right?
rolls up the back of his leg before turning around and letting you look at it.
First of all, Romeo, I need you to roll a charisma check for ass, just real quick.
What?
You
No,
can't do that.
you can't RNG my ass.
You can't
Okay, sorry.
RNG his ass.
Describe, is Romeo like, I assume
Shut up,
No. What I was saying was, I assume you're like pretty toned, right? That's what I'm. Not the.
I mean-
sorry. This is unrelated. Like your thigh is like probably very muscular, right?
Yeah, like he's a muscular guy. So
Yeah, you're generally pretty buff. So, Percy, as you're looking at the thigh, you notice that it's like, it's very like, it's teeming. Like as he's like showing you, the muscle is like flexing. But what you see along it is where the muscle should be flexing. There is instead, it's almost like this like, it's the shape just embedded. And as like Romeo kind of adjusts his leg to like steady his balance still, because you're still sort of unsteady, Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
The shape does not move. What you see is what looks like a burn scar, but it's not really a burn scar because you can see that it's like blistering, or it almost looks like it's blistering and kind of like it looks like it should be oozing some. Like that's the general impression you get. You're not a doctor, but it looks like it should be oozing something, and it's in the shape of a hand that is open palmed with its fingers outstretching, like just splayed out.
A normal sized hand?
A normal sized hand with a circle surrounding it. It looks almost like a piece of what is it, like standard for like a letter, like a wax seal. Your father has one that's similar to this, but it has like the shape of a crown on it. This is just a hand.
Yeah, Percy's going to describe exactly that. Mana, pretty much, like, just very...
like medically.
Yeah.
I don't know why I asked that question about your ass. I'm so sorry. That was so rude of me.
One, how
I
dare
genuinely
you
don't
make
know.
RNG determine my ass? Two,
you
you asked that question at all.
Romeo's ass is an enigma that will never be discussed in the future.
It's fine.
All right, welcome back, Gwen. So yeah, that's weird. Does that happen? Is that kind of thing happen often?
I mean, it's new, but it felt like it was bleeding, so I assumed it had to do with the whack shit.
So your personal whack shit that makes you like
Uh-huh.
a magic battery, that stuff. All right. So you know vaguely where this came.
I mean, wish I knew more. Grumble, grumble.
This doesn't look like any of the other anythings you have ever received, Romeo. This is
Yeah, but
very
he can, like, put together...
It's not who else does this? Who else?
What else
Actually,
would this... Like, he's dumb, but, like, burn, blood feeling
Oh, actually,
makes
sorry,
him
no,
stronger.
I'm super wrong. That looks exactly like the wax seals you got on several packages you received.
It takes
during your
him...
time before.
It takes him as long as you do to tell me that
I'm
for his
sorry,
brain
I
cells
forgot
to
I
put
forgot
that
about it.
together and go, yeah, I know kind of where it's from. Yeah, it's
Okay.
part of my shit, not part of our global shitstorm.
Is it-
So
Is it medic? Do you need like a bandage over it or something? I'm not offering. I just.
It's like kind of sore. It's kind of sore.
It's
It hurts a little.
sore, but I always wake up sore, so hopefully it passes.
All right. So, I think mine will probably, from what I can tell, will probably be a little bit weirder. Is the hair on the back of my neck, and she moves her hair upward.
Oh.
Yeah, he
Romeo.
gently puts it to the side and it's described that. Tell me what I see.
You pull the ponytail to the side and like in the sort of more, well, not ponytail, like you pull it to the long hair to the side and sort of clump it together a little bit as you like sort of squint. And at first you don't see anything, and so you're kind of puzzled as to what you're supposed to be looking at. And then just below where just above actually, sorry, where Percy's necklace hangs, you see like a couple of black lines appear on the back of her neck.
As I'm doing this, I will probably try to do it again, like try to open it again, because that
Yeah, for sure. And then you see a like black semicircle appear above these lines as they start to like form more, and they start to curl, and then you realize what you're looking at is like an eyelash and an eyelid as it opens wide and just sort of stares at you and blinks a couple times. It is bright, the iris is bright orange, it looks just like Percy's eyes. You actually notice that as you're looking at it, there's like a little hint of like eyeshadow on it, and like a little bit. It looks almost like it's been done up with mascara as well. It's very weird.
I see. He means that in that joking way, of course, and he's like,
I assume what I thought was happening is
does this run in the family?
No, my family doesn't do math.
Percy, as you're starting to talk about it, you feel your like sight that you're staring at with Romeo now. You blink again, and you start to see something again, and it completely takes you out of the moment, and everything surrounding you kind of fades out for a second as you see this scene. And it's actually, you think from your perspective this time, as you sort of see out of the corner of your eye, like bits of your white hair sort of kind of hanging loosely as you adjust them. And then your head swivels over to Jubilee, and she is still very unconscious. And you run over, and then suddenly everybody's running over, and you're shaking her, and she's not getting up. And as that becomes more frantic, you snap back into it.
Oh God, this is.
You okay?
I think so.
He's gently fluffing her hair back in place. It's not how she would want it, but he's attempting.
Could you just make sure that's not visible? Because that's a new one. And I don't want that to be visible, because that's weird.
What? Nah.
Yes, I trust your opinion on not weird very much, Romeo. Someone's high-fiving the back of your kneecaps.
He actually laughs at that.
I'm not gonna
I'd be
keep
pretty
doing
mad
that.
if all the shit they pulled and then they start high-fiving my knees.
Yeah, it's gotta be the back of your kneecaps, obviously. Alright, so we should wake up Jubilee.
Okay?
My third eye says so.
Holy shit, you have a third eye.
Don't.
Percy, I have no weird shit. What the fuck is going on with all of you?
Gains a third eye.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if Jubilee is Aura okay. Percy like looks around the cart,
Still,
realizing
you're still face down in the dirt,
Yep.
right, Aura?
No,
Still
no, she's turning into form of rock. I think she's trying to camouflage.
Oh, okay.
I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at a rock on the ground.
Okay.
As you start to groan, Aura, you feel like surprisingly and suddenly kind of overcome with emotion, and it's that sort of same feeling of like this groaning, sort of like displeasure, and then it turns into like, just for a brief second, it almost feels like something agonizing. Like it feels just awful, and as that happens, you feel yourself in the child position. You start to hover just a little bit again, and then it's more and more, and now you're clenching your fists at your chest as this pain is just reeling, this deep-seated, awful feeling. And you all see Aura. She's hovering now about 3 or 4 inches off the ground.
Oh.
And you unwillingly let out a scream that echoes throughout the entire cavern.
Oh.
Shit, are you okay?
As you hear this noise erupt from Aura, you actually feel pushed back, Romeo. You, of all people, feel pushed back. Everyone that is, like, nearby, you feel this blast of wind just kind of knock you away a little bit. You don't, like, stumble or fall, but it's like, it moves you physically. And then, Aura, you're lying back down in the child position, and you're just feeling displeased again and groaning, and it's almost as if it didn't happen.
Was I not aware that was happening?
You were, but it happened so quickly in your mind that it almost feels imagined, and if you didn't probably hear the silence around you, you would almost think it was.
Okay.
What?
Are you all right?
Did what I just saw in my head actually happen?
Yes, you floated a little bit, and then there was wind going on. You're a wind genasi, right? That's not a thing that happens with you all usually.
I look at GM.
No! No!
Why would anything ever be what usually happens?
You've heard of some, like, air genasis who are able to take, like, the current of air and sort of ride it, like, almost flying with, like, a gust of wind because of how light you guys are. But that's not something that should happen. This right here is not something that should happen. Give me a history check, actually.
Oh, fuck me. I'm really good at these.
Because there is one thing that might give you a little bit of context.
I mean, I read about things.
Sure, you can give me. Oh, that's good.
Thank
Okay.
God.
So, Auraleia, you have the advantage of, like, living there, so you like, something's kind of scratching at the back of your mind, and you're not really sure what it is, but it's like you can't quite put a name to it. Percy, you, after seeing this for a second and talking to Auraleia, it occurs to you, you have heard of something that air genasi do, but it's not like a thing air genasi do. It was one air genasi. A long time ago, your dad told you this story. It was one he picked up when he was traveling nearby the rift in his adventures.
Okay.
He's not very good at storytelling usually, but this one he seemed very interested in. There was a genasi, and air genasis don't typically have last names, right? They are just sort of, because they don't really, like, live in families. They don't have family names. They're raised by a community, and whatever their name is, that's sort of how you would address them. And this one in particular was called Thundercaller. And the reason why they were called that was because they were able to bring down the might of a thunderous clap with a single word. They would use the wind, like these strong gusts of wind and these, like, bright flashes of lightning in combat. And they were considered a hero by some, a tyrant by others, but they passed, like, long ago. Like, this was 500 years before even your father heard about it. So that's what you get. That's what you know.
Well, I mean, it's not entirely not an Air Genasi thing that I've been thinking about it. Thundercaller, ring a bell?
Does it ring a bell?
Now that you've heard the name, you can kind of remember the stories. From a more personal perspective, Thundercaller was terrifying to some. You know that there's occasionally outcasts from Genasi culture, Air Genasi specifically, but usually they like handle it within the group, and either the person gets better or they, pass on before they can truly be fixed or reconcile. This person was one of the very few exiles that have happened, simply because they were just too dangerous. Thundercaller was...
That's a great thing for me to be saying to her, then.
Thundercaller was not a vicious person. They were very kind and considerate, but when their temperament was not under their own control, it was impossible to tell what would happen next. They would later go onto the mainland and become a hero of legend, but still because of their fearsome nature, this negative history would follow them of being dangerous, of being scary, of being tyrannical. They are also called the loneliest Genasi for that reason.
Percy, knowing none of this, is just like, oh yeah, cool story about cool Air Genasi, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound very far off the money, actually. But we don't have to worry about that right now. We have so many other things to worry
It's all right.
about.
It's all right.
Jubilee is still unconscious, by the way, after all that.
I was gonna say, so we have a big pile of things that are all worrying that we should worry about that we probably don't have time to worry about. One of them is that I think Jubilee's going through something, right? She's not awake, and I don't think she's asleep. Call it a hunch.
Okay.
Percy's gonna...
Yeah, Romeo has already gone over.
I will follow shakily.
Yeah, Percy offers a hand to Aura to get up. Probably doesn't need it, but Percy offers it.
She takes it for a second, only to help herself get up and then lets go very quickly, but sort of nods at you as she walks.
Alright. I poke Jubilee.
Yeah, Romeo's knelt beside her and is kind of sort of shaking her shoulders gently.
Before that happens, I want to say, Percy, that single moment of contact between you and Auraleia, it is like electricity. It is this jolt. You know that pleasant jolt you got from Romeo when you touched his scar because of the magic that you sort of felt?
It's the magic.
It's kind of like that, but it's a little different this time because it actually feels like this static cling. And Auraleia, you walk past Percy and nod at her before you notice. Percy, your hair is just standing up, and then it just sort of falls down as you rush over to Jubilee.
What the fuck is happening?
And you're shaking her. Romeo, you are shaking her, and then you're shaking her violently, and she's still asleep. You occasionally hear her murmur and say some things, but nothing coherent. And it's like you can't even really shake her. It's like she's almost stapled to the ground or something. And as you try to lift her up, you see what the problem is. There are roots.
Oh, shit.
There are roots growing through her bedroll into the ground from her body.
He's looking at the first time panicked a little bit.
Alright, keep this under control. Okay. Let's try to disengage the bedroll from the roots. Let's try to see where are they connected to her.
Jubilee, roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a good wisdom save.
Okay. Jubilee, you were having a dream. And it is a strange dream to say the least. You've had dreams about your service to Gaia and what that duty means. Usually nightmares because it's very stressful. You've been raised in an environment that tried to take care of you, but now that you're out here in the real world, you realize how dangerous this is, how deadly this is, how important your duty is, and you are in the earth. You are deep further down than you are even now, and you are in the earth, and you feel it coursing through your fingers, and you're just sort of walking forward and forward and forward, and then you feel something hollow in front of your hand, and you start to pull yourself out of the dirt. And in front of you, you see a heart. A giant, glistening, glowing heart made of interweaving vines and branches and leaves, and you feel it calling to you, and you reach out to touch it, and then you're snapped out of it as you feel something jolt you awake, and those vines that you all see just sort of in one swift motion,
Oh.
and they're back inside of Jubilee as you sort of wake up none the wiser.
Are you all right?
Yeah, Romeo's kind of holding you in his arms.
Oh, was I not? Oh, I feel...
You were rooted into the ground through your sleeping bag.
Puns, if you're talking, you're muted, by the way. I do not think you...
Oh, I was muted, but I wasn't
Oh.
saying anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to check up, though.
Anyway, sorry, back to what you guys are doing.
So, yeah, that was an issue. Are you all right? Did anything happen in a dream or something? Anything when you were going to... What?
She just kind of points at the holes in the sleeping like roll again.
Oh no, is my bedroll ruined, GM?
It's not ruined. You're looking at it, and it seems like there was something that poked through it, but there's like this sort of weird. It's not like silk. It's like plant fibers that are sort of growing, and as you're looking at it, they continue to grow, Jubilee, and they're mending these holes in the bag where there were some until they are almost indistinguishable from the rest of the sleeping bag.
Wow, I don't even have the mending cantrip.
That's...
Huh,
You know what? That's not any more concerning than anything else that's happening today, so that's fine.
Romeo kind of realizes he's holding her, sets her back on her feet, dusts off her shoulders.
Yeah,
There is dirt, by the way, that is like
Dusts
all
off
over
the
you.
dirt that's all over her.
I mean, I did have some weird dreams, but it didn't seem like anything too out of the ordinary.
Jubilee, your ear feels kind of clogged. Like kind of like it you know, when you wake up sometimes and it's like whether it's like a nasal buildup or something, it feels like your ear's kind of clogged. Do you like shake your head to get rid of it?
Yeah. Oh man, this usually only happens after I go swimming.
You shake your head?
Yeah.
Worm.
Oh!
I
You don't
moved
see it?
that.
You don't see it? You shake your head like really quickly and it flies off into the distance. It's gone.
Oh,
It's
worm?
fucking gone.
Oh, worm?
All right.
Does it go into the lava?
No, it does not. go
Okay,
into the
thank
lava.
God.
It
Crying
like
cat face.
it
It's
like
not gonna
it,
last long down here.
it hits the wall. And you start to worry because, oh no, what if it slips down into the lava flow below? And then it just almost instantaneously burrows through this like sheer hard rock face, and it's gone.
Blink, 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 blink.
You know what?
Wipes the
That's
whole
not the
worm.
weirdest thing either.
Was that yours?
It's your word.
Was what mine?
Romeo just puts his
Points
hands
at
on
the
his
hole.
head.
Worm.
Worm just came out of your ear, and then it burrowed into the sheer rock face. Just to keep you up. So I don't think anyone here is having a normal day.
It doesn't sound like your worm.
I mean, maybe it's my worm?
I don't think it's your worm anymore. It's gone.
I guess it's the worm.
It's his own
now.
worm.
That's they're their own worm.
Yes. Okay.
I'm
Hey,
praying.
what's
I'm
going on?
praying.
She's in the corner, like, doing prayer hands.
I think
What is going on?
I think at this point we have so many questions.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know why I shouldn't keep this a secret from you four, because I feel like we have to lay all the weird shit on the table. I have a third eye now.
Oh, I knew that.
Oh,
Jubilee looks.
He's got that shit-eating grin.
What the fuck are you talking? Okay, yes, you were there.
Jubilee's like looking at your forehead. I don't.
No,
Yeah.
it's right. She turns around and she just pulls her hair up.
And
That's a weird place for it. Usually they're on the forehead, right?
and I seemingly Jubilee tattoos itself onto Percy's skin, blinks open, and then winks at you before disappearing.
Oh,
How do I know that it winked?
It
It's
like
just
sort
the
of
one.
like the sides of it like kind of tweak in like that stereotypical like it's almost the equivalent of like the turning of a head, like it turns slightly to the side in a way that an eye should not be able to in its socket, and it winks at you and it's gone.
So that's happening, just to put it all on the table, and I'm pretty sure I was seeing the future because of that. So, that's on the table. Try's fingers are growing back, that's fun.
Oh, that's
yeah,
exciting.
I have. Okay, but it would be exciting, but
There's crystals.
I think I'm being infected by the crystals.
We're already all infected. It's a group
Yeah, but you don't have them growing like this.
I don't.
Roll me a history check actually, and Percy, you can assist if you want.
Let's get it started, baby.
Never mind.
Try
History.
give me it. Come on, give it. Do it.
I pressed it. You want me to press it again?
no.
Yeah, sure. I'll take the first one.
I pressed
When it
it.
shows up.
Oh boy.
Oh, good.
16. That's really good. Okay.
9.
Try.
Nice.
This sounds mildly familiar to you. You don't remember. Again, you don't remember learning it. You don't remember where you learned it. But you know that Goliaths, because of that other thing I've told you about, and how Goliaths will pretty much live forever unless they are either killed or, decide to perish, they're known to have some regenerative properties, but only the extremely old ones, and even then, those can become trolls. That's sort of the whole reason why a lot of Goliaths will, have themselves either be executed or just try to pass on or join like wars or whatever when they start to get older, because when you start to regenerate, that is a bad sign that you are starting to become a troll, and once that happens, you cannot guarantee that your brain will not become damaged and you will not become inherently feral. This doesn't look like a normal type of that regeneration, though. You're not very old, and you're also not turning like a sickly green and growing moss, so that's good.
Well, I don't know how old I am.
You don't know how old
So
you
jot
are.
that down.
So I jot that down, but they do know that they are not old. You know that you are not old at the very least.
Not old enough for that shit to already be happening.
You would have to be centuries old before that should be happening.
Oh,
Try
boy.
kind of looks at their fingers. I think this is supposed to happen, but later. And I don't think this is supposed to happen like this.
Yeah, the crystals are a weird touch.
I mean, I think I was told that, or someone told me when I get older, I can become like a troll, but I don't think this happens. I don't think I'm old enough to be a troll.
You don't look that old.
I don't feel that old.
All
I'm
right.
old.
Probably not. So we're gonna file that under we'll deal with it later. Because you're not in pain, right?
Pokes at the crystal.
I mean, you can feel the crystal, but none of it feels painful. At worst, it feels like growing pains, and even then, it's like not that painful.
All
It's
right.
just,
Jubilee.
I feel those all the time.
yeah.
Jubilee, any pain from the roots? You good? Are you good? You feeling fine?
I think I'm feeling good.
Okay.
I'm a bit sleepy still, which doesn't make sense. I usually rest pretty well.
All right, Romeo. Besides the obvious, you doing fine?
A little sore. I'll live.
Okay.
I love how fucking nonchalant. How do you all are about this?
What are we gonna do about this?
What are we gonna do about it, too? Romeo's fucking dealt with waking up sore for a while, so...
Yeah.
Aura,
I feel like the roots are just kind of a natural progression thing that's going to keep happening. I don't
okay,
think it's necessarily a bad thing.
that's good to know because we were a little freaked out at that. So, that's
I
good
don't
to
know exactly how far that's going to go.
I hope you don't turn into a tree.
I mean, it could be nice.
Okay, well then
So it's C for
Live your dream.
cleric and not C for curse, so that's good.
All right, Aura, what's going on? What's happening? Are you?
I wish I knew.
Can you walk around in a city, maybe?
Aura's fine. She's not like floating anymore. She is just on the ground.
I am no longer in the avatar state.
You're no longer in the Avatar state, master of the air element, nomad.
All
air
right.
element.
Okay. So, I guess we're good to. Oh, how's Dorian?
Dorian's just sitting in his truck.
I'm so glad Dorian's just sitting in
You
his
were just
truck.
sitting in your
He
horse.
deserves it, dude. He
Romeo
deserves to
perception-
just... Please don't...
If you're looking at him though, roll me a perception check just to see if you notice anything.
Yes.
I think Jubilee's just looking
Same.
into the city.
Nice.
Okay, Percy. There are like these kind of. There's nothing really different about Dorian. His skin looks like it's kind of weird and like leathery, but I mean, older people generally have like a sort of a thicker skin, and Dorian looks like he's been through a lot of shit in his life, so that's not too out of the normal. And even then, like the heat from the lava, you wouldn't be surprised if his skin was getting like a little
Chapped.
tan.
Yeah. There's nothing immediately dangerous, so.
There's nothing immediately dangerous. There is like this weird, like kind of. It looks sort of like a bone formation at first that you're looking at, and you're not really sure at first what to like pick up from that. And then you like kind of reach up to yourself and you realize, you know, that kind of looks like my baby photos. The little
Getting
horns,
fucking horn?
very
John
small
is
ones.
dwarf.
Bruh?
Okay, so I think what she's gonna look over and she's gonna go, what the fuck? And go over to Dorian.
Don't.
Dorian, you're growing horn.
You just say it like that?
She's just
Telling it like it is.
Oh, well, hold on a second.
it's a normal
Reaches
thing.
up, kind of touches it. Oh, yeah, that tracks. I'm kind of surprised it's only happening now.
So
What?
you're fine with this? This is fine?
Well, combination of tiefling parentage and worshipping of Beelzebub will do that to you.
Oh, you were so. That's great to know. Thank you. Give me.
Yeah.
Sorry for waking you. Turns around and comes back to the party like. So, fun facts. 1, part tiefling. That's one. He's part. That's 1. 2, worships Beelzebub.
Can we do a vibe check on what Beelzebub is like in this world now?
Yeah, sure. Give me a Jubilee. You probably have the best understanding.
Yeah, can we get a vibe check on Beelzebub?
You'll already know a little bit about this, but I want like you to give me a religion check and maybe Percy as well, just because you have like generally really strong knowledge. Oh shit, never mind.
That's
Yeah,
the
Jubilee's got
smelly
it.
one.
That's the smelly one.
Beelzebub is the smelly one.
That's the smelly one. So Jubilee, you were aware of this, right? You've been aware of this for a long time, and I mentioned this before the campaign started. The way angels and devils work in this universe is very different from traditional universes. They're neither inherently good nor evil. They are just guardians of the afterlife, essentially. The whole point of hells and heavens, it is not to necessarily punish or reward. The human soul needs to be nurtured after death. It needs to be protected. Because after passing, if your soul is not put to rest, it can grow corrupted. And divine or not, it can become a terrible menace. And a angelic soul can rip apart entire cities. A devilish soul that is feral can destroy lives and will use trickery and guile and its wits to just ruin the people around it. And so the way that works is that deities of both the heavens and the hells are designed for their specific jobs. The hells are meant to reform souls until they are good and kind, and or until they at least are in control of themselves, to pass them on to the heavens. In the heavens, they are basically cared for in the afterlife to prevent them from going crazy and turning into these feral creatures. So Beelzebub is the smelly one. His domain mostly has to deal with like those who were killed early because of disease or because of like famine, and his reformation is mostly just he's kind of an in-between. It's either you yourself have caused others harm by starving them, or you have been starved. He's the closest to like an angelic devil, I guess, a Nephilim, and will either heal you and give you the food that you need and give you like the things, the pleasures you didn't get on Earth, or he will whip you back into shape until you understand the wrongdoings you did.
Okay, so
Very
vibe
lawful,
check
very
isn't
lawful.
vibe check ain't bad.
That's a pretty okay.
That's a pretty good
not bad.
vibe check.
I guess it makes sense since Dorian's a bit older. Probably during the passing.
Bingo!
All
I
right.
assume a lot of people probably turn to Beelzebub as a practice of worship.
All right, that's good. I'm glad we're all good there.
God shit checks out.
So, okay, before we go any further, I will say, I don't know the state of whatever residents are going to be in the Pithy. We should probably cover up the fact that we have the crystals growing out of us if we can. Because from our experiences, everyone with
Don't worry about it.
An engine revs in the distance and it's
Don't
really
worry
cool.
about it. The pithy.
From
They
our
got cars.
from our experience, people with the crystals tend to be trying to kill us. So I think it'd be good if they can't right away see the fact that we have crystals. That's just my personal opinion.
Won't take off my shirt. Got it. It'll be so hard.
Yeah, so don't pretend that it wasn't going to be on the... Alright, let's see. Who else? That might be an issue. Try.
Yeah.
There's a crystal in the back of your head.
Yes.
So we're going to try to cover crystals, right? We're going to have to figure out how to cover them.
A hood would probably work for Try.
I was just going to think of like a bandit.
But it sticks out.
It sticks out. That's a weird...
Agent 47.
Maybe like, I don't know, cover it in mud so that it doesn't stick out when I put the bandage on.
Try. I'm
What?
sure. Rubs his forehead. I'm sure we can think of something better than that.
What about
I
a
don't-
simple
Look,
I don't know if
yeah,
I can-
looks through his. He starts looking through his shit to try and find anything that could help.
Maybe like
know.
a head wrap, but it might get sweaty since it's lava and stuff around here.
I don't mind being uncomfortable. It's more of the fact of I don't know what we have.
Well, no, we don't want you getting heat stroke and passing out, and then someone's like, "Oh no, they've got heat stroke. Let's take this thing off them so they can cool off."
don't
at
know for
home."
sure that the crystals are going to be inherently, like, jumped on immediately or anything either, so this precaution, I have... Well, I can make a hood happen. I can... Oh, I might need someone's... No, you know what? We've got enough cloth. We can just make a hood happen. That's not going to be too hard.
Are you sure?
Yes, I know how to sew. Or,
Oh,
I mean, I can probably... Huh. She kind of puts her hand on her face. My unseen servant was acting up, so I don't know if it...
you're what?
It's a spell, I know. It's supposed to conjure an invisible force that can assist you, and, you know, be unseen. But I ritual cast it, and it was a ghost-like... It was paler than Romeo. So, Something wrong with it.
It's made of magic.
Yes. And the magic isn't supposed to do that.
Is it disobeying you?
No, I had summoned it just as I woke up, and I saw that it had a face, and that normally doesn't happen, so I unsummoned it, and then I didn't deal with it again. Maybe I should probably deal with that now, actually.
It's okay, if it acts up, I'll get him.
I can just dismiss... You can't hit it. It's not real.
What are you doing, sorry?
I'm probably gonna cast Unseen Servant again. I was talking about how I'm going to ritually cast it. If someone wants to help me, this will go way fast.
Sure.
Percy instructs you on how to draw the lines in the dirt with the chalk, all that jazz, and I cast Unseen Servant as a ritual again.
Part of the Unseen Servant is drawing a circle, Percy. And that circle is supposed to resemble kind of a face. At least how you were taught. It's basically supposed to represent the personage of the servant. Do you do anything special with that? Some people like to add a little bit of additional flair, but I don't think you did that.
No, I mean, she likes her Unseen Servant and
She likes them unseen.
You like it unseen? That's unfortunate for you.
Yeah, it is.
Because as the ritual's completed, you see that same bloom of purple smoke and that same torso made of like this just stark white flesh, and then it turns to you and it looks panicked for a second, and it puts its hands up like wait. And then,
Does anybody else see it, by the way? Is it still doing its unseen servant?
It is unseen by all of
Okay.
you.
Percy's making the face of like, look, take a load of this guy. Like, Jesus Christ, it's doing.
Jubilee looks at it. It's not. She can't see it. She looks back to Percy.
Oh man, that haircut. Ugh, so bad. I can't fucking see it.
Am I not seeing it?
That's
Romeo,
good.
you can't. Okay.
Percy, it points to your hand. It like starts pointing at your hands like a lot, like that.
Yes, I use this as spellcast.
It makes the motion of turning its palms over to its face and putting them in front of its face, like it wants you to look at them.
I do.
All you see is the ink on your fingers, Percy. And then it keeps pointing. It's pointing at you again.
Can you write if I give you some pen and ink? What's going on here?
It like turns its head and it like kind of nods, but also it shakes its head afterwards, like, yeah, but that's not the whole thing. But it points to your hands again like that.
I don't understand what you want me to do here, buddy. Percy is conversing with this empty.
What's it trying to say?
I would love if I knew. Can I? Okay, I feel like me as Qurth isn't getting this. Can I int check this real quick?
Yeah, sure. Make an int check. It's not a hard int check. You think it wants ink for some reason.
Right.
Is this the little bastard who's been in your book?
I take my fucking inkwell and I just kind of like narrow it. Don't use all of it. I don't have.
It nods furiously, like yes, of course, and it makes like a hands together gesture, like thank you, sorry.
I hand it the ink, and I'm just kind of staring at it, unimpressed at this point, just like what's going on here?
Everyone else, what you see is this bottle of ink float in the air as some invisible force grabs it. Percy, you see it dip its finger into the inkwell, and then it presses it twice to its face on opposite sides, and then it draws the semicircle, and now it has a smiley face on it.
That's a smile. Percy
Can we see the floating smiley face?
Sorry?
Can we see a floating smiley face?
No, you can't.
Oh,
you
okay.
It just fucking disappears. Percy just continues to look like unimpressed by it.
What's it doing now?
And it like moves its hands like wait. And it runs over to where you were looking for your papers and stuff before, and takes one, holds it up, and like points at it, like, is it okay if I...
Yes, I suppose.
It scribbles a little bit, dipping its finger into the inkwell occasionally.
Have a pen.
It like looks at you, looks back at its hands, looks at you again, and you swear to God, it's as if it was blinking. The eyes don't move, but you swear to God it's as if it blinked and realized something. And it just slowly outstretches a hand.
Like, Percy has this absolutely unimpressed look on her face, just like,
What the fuck is going? And I don't know what's going on, and I'm not impressed by you.
No.
Romeo's just chilling next to Percy, like, I'll let this play out.
It looks down at the ground sadly.
Oh.
Write what you're going to write.
It takes the quill and like finishes writing it, and then it holds up the paper to you, and you all see a smiley face beneath a phrase in common, and that phrase says, "Friend."
Yay!
Aw.
Step back.
I ain't that cute.
All right.
And then it takes the paper back and then scribbles again, and then it holds it up to you and it says, "Please don't banish me again, frowny face."
It was too early for me to deal with whatever the fuck's going on here. So none of you guys can see this.
I can see the
I can
papers.
see its lovingly crafted note to you.
It's a friend.
Percy looks over at Romeo like, damn you.
By the way, the phrase isn't "please don't banish me again." It just says "no banish." That's what it says.
Please no finish.
Please,
Please
River.
no punish.
So,
Okay.
You ain't even in the pithy yet,
Everyone else
y'all.
can see that you're doing your job. Percy holds her hand out for the inkwell and the
It hands you the inkwell and nods, and you swear to God, that smile starts to animate a little bit. Not in like a creepy way, but it's like it spreads across its face for a second as it nods, and then it just sort of hangs out.
Okay.
So you have a friend ghost now, Percy?
It's not a ghost. It's an unseen servant. I guess it still technically is an unseen servant because you all can't see it. So.
Nah. It's upgraded to unseen friend.
Yay!
I cannot write a page in my spell book.
The unseen servant is like looking at Romeo, and it puts its hands to its mouth like, "Oh wow," and then it points at Romeo and is looking at you, Percy.
Oh, he likes you.
What's their name?
The ink out again.
Please don't give it a name.
does it stay around forever?
Do you give it the inkwell and the paper? Do you do that?
Yes, I do. Well, Percy does, and it's the spell that I can cast ritually. So it disappears after an hour, but it's the same one apparently. So this is just something I can do at all times.
And it takes the paper from you and the inkwell as you hand it over to it, and it's scribbling something down, and then it like crosses it out, and then it thinks for a second, seemingly like it tilts its head up, and then it scribbles something else down, crosses it out. This happens a couple times until eventually it looks at you apologetically for probably wasting the ink, you imagine, and then it writes one last thing on the opposite side of the paper, and it shows it to you, and it says, "Vengeance."
Oh my god. Real?
Oh, that's the tiefling thing.
That is.
Or, yeah, Romeo like has that realization like too late and says it out loud.
That's.
God, mood.
I mean, I guess you didn't. Okay, yes, sure.
I
Vengeance.
wonder where it comes from.
It's what. It's not a family name per se, but it falls in line with the family name. My sister's name is Reverence. My brother Judgment. Persecution. It's a family thing.
It like nods. It like keeps nodding at you. Roll me a intelligence check to see if you remember something important.
Okay.
Oh my god, you have your own personal cryptid too.
Yay!
You got your
I'm gonna use-
cryptid.
I'm using.
You know that name is in your family somewhere, Percy. You know it. You don't remember who, but you know that is like a family name.
Percy,
It is
Someone.
a friend. It
Are
is a
you-
friend ghost.
Percy, are you a mom now?
No.
Percy, you turn back
Romeo,
around
like,
and you're
Romeo is laughing his ass off.
It's magic. It's summoning. It's not. That's
Percy,
But it has
you-
your name.
you're like turning back to it as you're talking to try like no, and as you do, it takes the inkwell and it like paints angry eyebrows on its forehead and looks at Try, and then the smile turns into a frown for a second, and
Try
it shakes
can't
its head
see it.
no.
Try. You can't see it, but they're very upset you even suggested it. Percy is smug now that it is agreeing with.
It puts its,
Try, like,
you put your hands on your hips, it puts its hands on its where its hips would be.
Okay.
Trey looks at them and he's like, oh, and then bows.
No, it's a magic. It's like summoning. It's not. If I summon like a cat or something, I'm not the cat's mom. I summon.
You can summon a cat?
No, that's a
Oh.
wizard. I don't do familiars.
I
Then
wonder
what?
if I could summon a cat.
Then what is the cat?
It's a summon. It's a familiar normally.
What the fuck was that supposed to mean?
No,
I
I get
want
it.
to know.
It's not your kid. So what is it?
Okay.
It's just something you summon. It's not a familiar like.
It's a friend.
Yes, it's a friend. Thanks, Ro.
But it's a friend that's related to you.
No, they're not related to me just because they have my name.
So Percy, as you're turning around to talk to Romeo, this thing is like looking at Romeo and then back to you.
Yeah,
and
go
then
hang
looking
out
at
with
Romeo
him. Yeah, go hang
and
out
back
with
to
him.
you.
It's fine.
And it nods, and then it points to Romeo, and then it points to you, Percy.
Good thing it doesn't have eyebrows.
And then it cocks its head.
Percy
Well, it
just like
does
looks.
now.
Percy just looks at it like. What?
Waggles
It
its mouth.
shakes its head, and a smile spreads across its face as if to say, nothing. And it starts hanging
Same
around
hat?
with you, Romeo.
Yeah, go ahead.
Romeo can't
likes you.
like. Oh, that's good. Well, sorry, bud. I'm not gonna call you Vengeance. That's a mouthful. Hope you like Ven.
Oh, that's fun. That's a good one.
It nods. You can't see it, obviously.
Yeah, it likes Ven. Ven's good.
Wait, Percy, it goes back to you, and it looks at like some of the blankets you had on the bedrolls, holds up a finger for a second, runs over to it, and drapes it over itself. And now you can all see this like form of a torso in the air.
Well,
Or a
you can do
fucking
that for now,
scream.
but once
We're matching.
it's magic. It's not.
Finger
It's not
guns.
like a ghost or anything.
I can't see it, but God, I wish I could.
Percy sees it and is like, "Oh God, it doesn't even. You haven't even. It just finger gunned at you, Ro."
This is the best. This is the best. I
You
feel
see
so
this,
much.
like-
I feel so much better today now.
You
Right.
see this red floating form kind of hover over you, and then you feel like hands, and they're. I think it's more shocking that they're not cold. They're like a person's hand, and it just has its hands on your shoulder, and you see it turn to face you, and it kind of like tilts its head to the side, Romeo, and it's just sort of like looking at you.
I mean, he can't see it looking at
You can
him,
see
but
you can see the shape of it moving, so you can infer that its head is like moving and like it's looking at you a little bit.
All right. So Ven, by the way, you can do this here on the outside. You should be as discreet as possible once we're in the city, because it's just good to have an unseen servant up your sleeve in situations like. Also, I might need your help with my arm. So.
Oh, it walks over to you and it like seems to understand, Percy, and you feel it, and now it's like it's right at your back. It's not like this uncomfortable feeling though. Normally it'd be like a weird personal space thing, but it feels.
It's an unseen servant, so.
It's an unseen servant, and it feels like familiar in a weird way.
Alright,
And
that's a
it
little
just
weird.
like it cradles your arm in its arm, and
Not all. You don't need to do that now. Go have fun or whatever. When we go into the city, which we should be doing soon.
speaking
Actually.
of which, we're wasting
Yeah, we
a
should be
bit of
doing that.
time.
Yeah.
Let's.
Not that it's not good to chill out, but
We
The
should
un-
probably.
the unseen servant floats away to go bother Dorian.
Yeah. Hey, Aura, are you?
She's covering her eyes.
It's not a ghost.
I don't care what it is. I don't want to see it.
Well, it's unseen, so you're fine.
I don't want to know it's there.
Okay, I won't tell you when I cast it.
Thank you. And she takes her hands off her eyes.
If something. Okay, well, if weird shit starts happening, just assume it's that, probably. Alright, that's. Are you. Percy just kind of like this. Is there something that we should talk about there, or is that just a personal. What?
We're disguising the crystals, right?
Deflect. Great.
plus 10 deflection bonus.
Aura, are you afraid of ghosts? I'm God. I'm God. I get to ask. Are you afraid of ghosts, Aura? I'm God.
they're
I'm God. I'm God. You have to tell me the truth. I'm God.
Gaia, is that you?
It's me, Jubilee.
Is Aura afraid of ghosts, Gaia?
I hate
Wait,
you so
wait,
much.
you
Gave me
want,
the swarm god?
No, I'm not.
You wanted
I'm
to
not.
cast augury, right? You wanted to
I'm
cast
not using
augury.
it for that.
Jubilee.
Okay.
Jubilee's a nice girl. But okay, yes, I will not tell you next time that I cast that. And also, we should be covering our crystals, and then we should be going because it is later in the morning than I wanted to cut into.
I could have just had this map, y'all. I could have literally just had this, and this would have been the session, and it would have been fine.
Mel
God.
thinking the session's gonna be less than 3 or 4 hours.
Oh God, how am I gonna fit the rest? It's fine. We'll figure something out.
Mel
Yeah,
thinking. I'm sorry, I had to go drop off car.
That's fine. You're fine. It didn't drag anything out or anything. You got back at like the perfect time, so it's fine.
Wonderful.
Qurth? Oh, okay. All right. Does anybody else need to do anything?
The dwarves are just going at it down in the pithy.
They're really getting it.
Distant engine of hatred stirs.
There is is there anything else you guys want to do before you go? Because you do have a moment for now.
Jubilee, are your crystals like visible? Where are
They're on. I think you said on my wrist, right, Mel?
On your like the inside of your knuckles, and I don't believe I said wrist, but like now when you're looking at it, it is like they are. You know how a rash grows sometimes, like it spreads.
Unfortunately.
It kind of looks like that as you're looking at it. Like it's like these small dotting of like freckles that are glowing green, just creeping up to your wrist now from the open palm.
I can, if it's green, if they're greenish, I can probably pass that off as cleric stuff.
Everybody else's is blue, so.
If anyone questions it too much, which they shouldn't, I'm guessing, because my hands are
Very small. My hands are very
I am
small.
Yes, I know.
We all know.
What else would we need? Some sort of headscarf for Try?
I think P was working on a hood before the whole
friend.
Waves his hand friend dilemma. But that's solved, so I'm assuming that's what Percy's working on now, of course, BRB, so.
Hell yeah. Welcome back.
I'll just go and do my morning things real quick, and then we can head out and stuff.
Yeah. Jubilee, you run off to do your prayers and ceremonies to Gaia. Percy, what are you disguising everybody with?
I mean, crap. This isn't like a full disguise. This is just we want to hide the crystal.
Yeah. I know. What I'm saying is like, what are you like? How?
Well,
what areas?
My crystals are on my arm, right?
Yes.
I have a second set of clothes. I'm just going to wear that, the one that aren't ripped on the arm.
Okay. All right. It's a little harder. You're looking at like the crystals that are on like your shoulder. They have grown now considerably, so you kind of almost need to like throw.
Put my bow on.
Yeah. That's all right. And also, if you wear like another like a cloak over your cloak, or something, like if you wear layers, it'll be easy to disguise.
Yeah.
One moment, sorry. All right. What are you doing, Try?
I mean, I think Percy was making a hood for them, so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a hood for them. The unseen servant can sew, I think. So. I'm gonna have him, or I'm gonna have them help me out.
Vengeance, they carefully take like the sewing equipment you give them and nod as they start working on it.
So just get some hood of some kind so we can put that on, try his outfit, and just put that. Romeo just has the crystals on his stomach, right?
Yeah, he, when it gets brought up, he unabashedly raises his shirt and looks.
Are there any a bit worse?
Kinda, yeah. Like, not worse in a bad, but definitely more extreme. What used to look like a light dusting of freckles, Romeo, they are starting to form, like, these small clusters. It's still not like bad, but it is almost like welts across your skin. They're not painful though, and they still glitter blue in contrast to your light pink scars that sort of, you're starting to see them almost like grow in clumps in between the scars.
They don't like touching my scars.
They don't like touching your scars, whatever it is. They don't want to touch them.
Okay, well, I can still
So
just
keep your
have it under
shirt-
my shirt. I will
Yeah,
do my best to keep
your
my
shirt
shirt on. It is taking all my willpower.
Of course, of course.
And Romeo runs off to do something more serious than joke around about keeping his shirt on.
And Aura has potato
I've got
sack.
this. Aura steps into the back of the caravan. You hear silence, like a tearing noise, a couple shuffling around, and she steps back out, looking like a fucking fantasy friar.
Very good.
All
I love
right.
that. Yeah. This one, love that.
So that works.
Aura, as you're walking back into the cart though, and tearing this fabric, you see one thing in particular that seems strange.
Oh boy.
And she looks up at you with panic in her eyes. It is that one goblin whose foot you made that gigantic hole in, and she is trying to crawl away from the rest of the group. And she looks terrified for a second before her jaw kind of goes slack again, and that, like, vacancy in her eyes reemerges, and then she just kind of slinks back away from you into the group.
When she sees that, Aura kind of freezes with her.
She pulls the tarp that is covering the rest of the throng back over her head as she sort of just scrambles backwards. And you can't see her anymore.
Shit.
Aura just very quickly steps over a little closer. Not too close, but just enough so she can hear her, and just goes, "I'm sorry," before stepping back out of the cart, looking like a fucking potato now.
You don't hear anything in response, and you walk out and you look like a potato skin decided to try to harass a person who won and is now wearing the trophy of its battle.
I am ready.
I can fix that. All right. So what's the vibe, everybody else?
Romeo's gone off to the cliff edge near where the lava is,
Okay.
and he's digging around in his pockets for something.
All right. I'm gonna leave that alone. What's up with Try?
Chilling.
Try's just probably chilling, just kind of making sure their hood is tight, trying to act natural.
All right. That you look like you're terrified about what's going to happen every time you take a step. Try. Are you all right, or is that just you trying to look natural?
Oh, I'm just trying to make sure my hood stays on.
Okay. So, here, let me just. I'm gonna try and basically just fix it into a place where I know it's less likely to fall off. Well, that's not what I meant to click. Basically, I'm just trying to do my best here to help try.
Okay, all
I feel
right.
like if Percy does it, they're more likely to believe that it'll be fine.
What exactly are you doing with thaumaturgy, by the way?
Nothing too fancy. It's literally just like putting the hood so it can't easily slip off of them. This is mostly just Percy going, if I fix it, they'll probably trust it more and be more comfortable with it.
Okay. Try, you feel the warmth of this magic sort of help.
I wasn't using thaumaturgy. I accidentally clicked that. I'm just doing
Oh,
this.
sorry. Oh, sorry. I was like, how is thaumaturgy?
Yeah, no,
Whatever,
no.
it'll be fine. Yeah, no, you feel Percy pull this hood over your head, and you are covered. Every part of like your gems are covered.
Try kind of like tugs on it to make sure it's on, and then realized it never moved, and then kind of just like stops fidgeting with it, and kind of just like.
I assume you probably also, Percy, want to like tie the top of it just to make sure it stays in place, kind of, right?
I do what I can.
Yeah. Okay, there's like a string that ties it around the top of your head so that the hood doesn't fly if there's like a burst of like a light burst of air, which you do feel occasionally coming from the caverns above. Is there anything else you guys want to do before you head in?
Romeo's just real quick. After he burned those bodies back there from the onion fight, he collected their ashes. And now he's spreading them to the lava. As they would want to be. It's just, respecting the dead.
Okay.
Because he's kind of... He wants people to be done like they should be.
You take these ashes, Romeo, and...
He put them in his gold pouch. The ashes for storage, yeah.
Wow.
Well, because
nice.
it's empty.
Oh, right. I was gonna say that's very kind of you for your love of, but no. Okay.
Well, it's partly of that, but mostly because it is an empty container.
Yeah.
But he thinks about that for a second, like,
I'm a good Samaritan.
You take these ashes out, and you actually don't realize it at first, but you're mumbling something under your breath, and it is indecipherable to you. But the words come so easily and so naturally, and you remember that there were the mornings after that you can briefly and shudder to remember. You remember saying this time and time again, and it's the same phrase over and over again. And you feel like you're on the cusp of remembering what that phrase means. And then you look at your hands and the ashes are gone and they are gently flowing into the lava as it continues down its path, deeper and deeper into the depths of Marm's Pithy. And you turn around, you wipe the rest of the dust off of you, and you almost feel like you can hear a sigh of relief as you walk back to the rest of the group. I assume you guys are now heading into the city proper, unless there's anything else.
We better head out.
We better head out.
We better head out.
Right.
Shuffle.
Get the other music.
Oh, that's fun.
Ooh.
Me when I pithy.
I don't like how foreboding it sounds.
As you all press onward now into the city, you cross a bridge seemingly made of steel rope and wood, which seems more than slightly untrustworthy considering the deep pool of lava it lies across. Still, in spite of your worries, as the heat rises off of it, it still holds strong and sturdy, this bridge. Just about as anything as you and your caravan cross the gap.
Describe the bridge again.
It is made of wood, steel, and rope. Seemingly, that is what you can see it looking
I examine the wood.
You know it's fine, but okay. Give me a perception check, I guess.
When the nature domain cleric be like, oh shit, it's wood.
Okay, this is not like any wood you've ever seen before. You are not even remotely familiar with this wood. Trees don't grow down underneath the ground. You have no fucking idea what this is. It is not like any make that you've seen before, although it does seem to have the sigil of Marm's Pithy on it.
So it's not weird for them, it's the... Okay.
You would assume it's not weird for them, though. It's just very strange to you, Jubilee.
What does the sigil look like?
The sigil looks like a mountain that is peeking out from over a sunny horizon, and there is a single crown on each of its peaks. That is what the sigil of Marm's Pithy looks like.
Like an M.
It's like a weird fucked up M with other M's that are upside down. I think those are called W's in the image, yes. It's a lot of triangles, for sure.
Yeah, as they're, like, stepping onto the bridge, Jubilee, like, stops, pulls out her journal, like, flicks through it, slams it shut. Look out for eyes.
What?
Eyes?
Eyes.
Percy!
Romeo looks at Percy!
Percy looks at her hand.
No, on the writing that we found on the walls, I wrote it down in case. One of the first lines is, "Beware who cross these dreaded ties on knotted rope and wood with eyes." I figured it'd be like a big bridge or something, like a rope bridge.
But there is rope and wood here, so...
There's rope and there's wood.
Well, we'll keep an eye out.
Try equips Morningstar and begins poking the bridge.
Oh,
Wood
wait.
with eyes, with little luck and hopeless eyes.
The Sleeping Dreadnought. Wait, what was the other one?
The second one is on tepid steps and fruitless flights, on misty moors and starless nights. They shear the flesh and snuff the lights. The sleeping dreadnought bides its time.
Starlit, Misty... Well, those... They sound like they're outside.
Is it maybe that the further, like the more... It feels like there's more to this, and I'm wondering if we find more of it, will it go further back in time? Like, because I feel like the second one was like during the second night that we were out, because the Starless Nights part.
What?
Because the stars disappeared.
What?
Percy, you went...
Oh yeah, that did happen.
The what?
The stars are gone?
What?
Percy, the star... You know...
Oh,
He was
what?
kind of.
You missed that?
Well, she was, going through shit.
Oh.
The night I lost my arm?
Yeah, all the stars...
And we just went underground?
I didn't want to... I figured we wouldn't have to think about all the stars being gone, and maybe they'll be back when we get back. And
We just all left?
Except for the one.
The one?
The
shepherd.
that one. But it's red now?
Oh! Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. Probably better that you find out now, I guess, than when we go back, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like if I went up
That would have kind of
up
been jarring.
there, and then like I'm like, oh man, I'm finally out of underground. Can't wait to see the stuff. Well, that's nice. Not, I don't. Why does some random dwarf in the tunnels going down to Marm's Pithy know about the stars leap?
I
That's
don't
a
think
really
he
good
does.
question.
I think the Dreadnought does, or some god shit.
Oh god.
Whoever they are, shear the flesh and snuff the lights.
I think
I mean, the dude, the onions that we found yesterday. They like, did I?
I mean,
should
kind
have
of
just with it.
wangs his face
Romeo.
at that, like.
Try. You were with me. That their armor was part of them,
it was
like a kite, like beetles
try
have
stomach
it.
like turns. It was flesh.
Okay.
Well,
I think we should get going.
Yeah, let's not.
if
be
we
on the
get
bridge
to the
anymore.
bottom of this,
I don't want
then
to
we
keep
will.
talking and then have the bridge grow
Yeah,
eyes.
let's
and
get off the
collapse
bridge
under
and
us.
keep moving.
Little luck and hopeless eyes.
You know, I'm gonna look around.
We're
for
still.
eyes.
I assume we're still walking as she's.
Yeah, we're
I
walking.
would hope
We
so.
Okay,
Walking
I assume you probably stopped before when you were talking about it, but
but
you
now
can
we're-
across the bridge. Okay. You're
I'm looking for
cross-
eyes. Ooh.
Eyes emoji.
You're looking for eyes. Okay, Percy, so you're examining this bridge, and to you, there's nothing inherently out of the ordinary out of it. And then as you're like blinking because of the sheer light coming off of these flows of lava, you feel your third eye open. And it is hard this time to actually open it. It feels almost like it's kind of like closing itself shut for some reason. It doesn't seem to want to open itself. But you are in the sky again, far, far above where you are crossing. And you can see yourself as you're walking forward. And then you zoom in. Closer now, closer, closer. And now you no longer see yourselves. You only see the bridge beneath you. The planks are made of wood with this sort of metal coating on the underside. And as you are looking at it and you're examining it, you see one of these little circular, sort of darker brown knots in the wood. It blinks at you, Percy. And then the vision fades.
So this wood definitely has eyes. Further up, she just kind of like rubs the, like, doesn't really touch the back of her neck, but like puts her hand near. So I just saw that. It's kind of funny. My third eye made eye contact with the in the wood.
You feel like the reason why it instantly ended, and now you're like putting your hand to the eye. It is still there. It has not disappeared like it has before.
It's hiding.
It is tightly shut. Like
it doesn't want to look at the eyes in the wood. That's fun.
Maybe we keep walking now.
We're still walking.
We're still walking.
Faster.
You are
Maybe
now
a bit quicker.
You are now in the middle of this bridge.
Where was the eye that I?
You realize as you are like thinking about it that it was behind where you are currently, but you did see, and as you're walking you do see more of those same like brown, what would you would normally consider knots in the wood, you know, like those little brown circles and specks that you will sometimes see in wood due to imperfections and stuff that. You see a lot of those.
All right, so let everyone just keep walking at a fast pace and don't look down.
Romeo is nonchalantly walking, just like he normally would.
Try is huddling close.
Or trying his best with his, you know.
I think you probably need support for this because it would be very, very difficult to like walk along.
He's trying his best to walk
Percy
on his
will
own.
Percy actually goes to stand next to him once she realizes it's fucking eyes everywhere. She's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna just go near someone who can protect me if they have to fight. And also, now that she is there, you can probably lean on her without much.
Or is hoofing it.
You're just going?
She's just going.
Or please don't go too far ahead of us because then you'll be separated with the eyes, and you don't want that, right?
God. I
Please
could
don't
make
run
you
away
make a
from me.
dexterity saving throw. I'm not gonna though, because this
What
is
the
not.
fuck does that mean? What the fuck
I mean,
does
you're
that
running on a
mean?
rope break. You're running on a rope break.
You're running barefoot on a bridge that is over this massive gap. It is a wide bridge, but it is a like it's not a bridge where all of the like planks are super duper uniform.
Oh
right?
my god.
Yeah.
They are sturdy, but they are kind of like they are not right next to each other.
Romeo kind of points this out to you like it's uneven. Bridge is built kind of.
Don't
Whack.
run. Like, you can go ahead of us. Let's speed walk. Don't get separated from us.
There is like a track along the bottom where the wheels of a cart are supposed to fit in, so it has proper support as it crosses this bridge. Like, it seems, and you know that dwarven handiwork is super sturdy, but you probably shouldn't test your luck over a flow of water.
Or like
Okay.
we'll hustle. But
You hustle. You are allowed to hustle. Do not sprint, please, on the bridge.
Yes, no sprinting. I turned into like a toy soldier who is just walking very fast.
Very fast and very stiffly, I assume. Like you
Please
don't want
don't.
to be here.
Please stay next to me.
See, I thought, with little luck and hopeless eyes might mean that the real threat might be something that we
Please
can't
stop talking
see.
about it.
Jubilee,
I-
now I need you to roll me a perception check really quickly.
I can
Oh.
do.
We're about to get fucking jumped on this bridge.
Oh,
You don't notice
gee.
anything. You're like as you say that, you're like, oh wait, maybe there's something we can't. But you don't see anything. Nothing out of the ordinary.
I mean, I feel like I'm still looking for things. Like this is Percy.
You're still looking for things. This is not something that you
Okay,
could
not something I can-
perceive with
okay.
your yeah.
Just this. This is just Percy is on guard, right?
It's okay.
Cool. Real quick, who has the highest passive perception though in the party? I do want to
Not me.
It's Aurel, I think.
Laura.
Not me.
I have 14.
Higher than mine.
Okay. As you are getting to the end of the bridge, Auraleia, you see something carved into the post. Dorian was behind all of you, just in case the weight of the bridge would be a difficulty. So he came afterwards. And as you cross and as you're looking at this, you can't really decipher. Well, hold on. What languages do you know? This is important.
Let me pull it up. I know Common and Primordial. That's it.
Okay. This is not in Primordial, but Jubilee, as you cross this, Auraleia points this out to you.
Very frantically.
It is in Dwarven, and it is like that same kind of carved into this, like, because this is hard steel, right? I should mention, everything else, where these have been carved, it has been carved into the stone surface of the mountain, which is difficult enough to carve into. This is in sheer reinforced metal, but it is carved all the same, and it looks fresh. You can still see the shavings that were clearly needed to be removed in order to chisel this in. Do you read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay. You trace your fingers along this, and you're recording this in your journal as you're looking at it.
Yeah. Or whenever
And-
Mel gives me the text version.
And it reads... A clever child of ill repute, a wild raving, thoughtless brute, a craven raven and priest astute. The sleeping dreadnought left them cold. And that's what you get!
Hey Mel, can you paste the?
Of
Can we
course I
get the
can.
Pabst?
Give us Papa.
I give you Papa. Give you pop, 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 pop.
Slurp.
I think this thing just call me a child, y'all. Fuck the dreadnought.
Fuck the dreadnought.
Do you repeat that to the rest of the group, or do you keep that?
Jubilee just kind of makes a.
Mel died.
Oh god, Mel die!
Oh shit.
This.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
GM.
I-
Uh-oh, GM's gone. If the GM's gone for 15 minutes, we can do what we want.
I
The dreadnought
kill the
got-
dreadnought.
We killed the
If we-
dreadnought.
If
I
know.
don't.
I know
if the
whenever I,
GM's gone for okay,
I know-
but here's the thing: if the GM's gone for 15 minutes, we can run across the bridge.
We can
there
just
she
run.
is.
Across
Oh,
the
hello. Yes, sorry. Discord made me join the call on mobile when I tried to paste this on mobile. So give me a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Discord mobile do that weirdly sometimes.
So here you go. That is what you
Oh,
get.
thank you for putting it in the...
Alright, thank you.
For the viewers.
For
the
the viewers.
So does Jubilee just read this out loud?
No. She
No.
does not read it out loud.
That is fair, I think.
I mean, if
Do I not get to be in the poem?
I mean,
we don't know who the bird
think-
is.
Yeah, I
Think
think
you're the
you're a
bird.
raven.
you're a brute.
Yeah, but
I don't think I'm a thoughtless brute.
No, I think Romeo's a raven because
There are only 4 people in this, though. So I don't think it
Yeah,
might be
regardless,
us, it might be us.
somebody's...
We
Someone's
got
not.
one, and it's pre.
Craven is cowardly! I'm not a coward!
No, you're right. Maybe that one's Percy.
No! We're not gonna think about this. It might not even be us.
I will say, is Jubilee very clearly reading something?
Yeah,
I mean,
she
yeah,
makes-
it's pretty clear.
And
she
I'm
makes her
jotting
face
it
out.
down in her fucking journal, probably.
So,
I don't think any of you know Dwarven outside of Jubilee, though, right?
share with the class.
I don't think you're gonna like it.
Okay, I haven't liked literally anything that's happened to me since I came on this journey. Go ahead, hit me with it. Can't be
Alright.
worse than what's happening.
I copy paste it into the group chat.
Okay,
You get a notification on your fantasy iPhones that
Great.
says that their messages
That's
are
great.
in the group chat.
so it's another part of the poem.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
this
a
one
new part
doesn't
of the
follow.
poem.
And this one doesn't follow the same sort of. I don't know. This. It's like. It's different in a very specific way
Well,
to the
It
other two
talks-
parts.
it talks about the dreadnought killing people. So
Give me a perception check, Jubilee, now that you're looking at this and trying to examine it.
There we go.
Jubilee, parts of these have been destroyed and rewritten a couple times. There are things omitted here that you cannot recover.
Do I
there
know
are
where
things-
the omissions are?
It is repeat. It is like the whole thing has been destroyed and rewritten several times. That, you assume, is why it feels like kind of stilted. It's as if it has been revised.
how recent did you said it? Said you look?
Really look. She points at it. There's still metal shavings in it from when this was done.
Is it about us?
There's only 4 people here, unless.
Unless.
The last part says left sleeping dreadnought left them cold, unless it implies that only one of us makes it out.
Oh, that's fun. You know what I'm going to assume for the sake of me continuing down this path? That this was a group of other people that came down here. I'm gonna believe that one. And let's keep going.
Please.
I'm back.
Please.
Hooray.
Welcome back.
We're gonna get going.
Yeah,
Please.
Percy was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna assume that somebody else had died, and let's get going. Let's get moving.
Revisions, cyclical.
We'll figure it out when we're in the pithy. Come on.
Alright, okay. You guys advance into the remainder of the pithy.
Mel, can I make a history check?
I thought you
Sure,
already
what-
did.
No, I'm gonna
No.
I'm gonna make a different history check. Was there anything funky with the pithy around the time that the passing started?
Give me a roll.
I don't have a great history. Fuck
If you
it.
ask, I can.
Other than the fact that it wasn't really affected by the passing, no. And even then, that, like, kind of makes sense because they aren't exactly known for vast agriculture.
Vibrant, yeah.
And the passing was not everywhere. But it was definitely was a bad season for pretty much everybody. But the passing itself was specifically very located directly in Flagstone and its surrounding areas.
Percy, you probably know this better than I do. Do you know if there were any reports of weird stuff happening around Marm's Pithy around the time of the passing?
Well, that's pretty general.
Weird
Maybe
magic stuff?
anything distinct.
Let me think. Anything particularly weird?
If not, then that's fine.
The only thing that I can say that you would be able to, within reason, deduce is that it's kind of weird that the dwarves developed a technique to prevent the undead from rising when supposedly the undead problem never occurred in the Pithy itself. Necromancy, it was never really banned here. It was just never supposedly a problem. At least it was never reported. But there's very little known about the Pithy. Very little information ever comes out about the Pithy itself.
Alright.
So that's not surprising. It's just weird.
Alright. Well,
Maybe I can find a library when we get to the town part. And
yes.
start digging in and stuff.
Let's keep going then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So You've made it across the bridge now. In spite of your worries, it has held strong and sturdy as anything, as you and your caravan have crossed the gap now. And finally, you're within the city proper, and it is a hellscape to observe.
Oh.
Now close enough to see the destruction for yourself, it is almost as if a fireball had went off. Shards of glass and steel from various storefronts are scattered about. Carts are upturned among the ghastly and haunting number of corpses that line the streets below. There is nary a sound nor sign of movement as you stare onward. The vacant yet very obstructed streets creating a sense of dread and panic that hangs over you all like a cloud.
Percy just kind of drops to her knees. Oh my god.
The smell of rancid and some burning flesh fills your nostrils, Percy, as you fall to the ground.
Try is paralyzed.
Oh my god.
They couldn't have known this when they sent us on this job. They couldn't have known. Otherwise, they'd send an army.
Or it takes a couple tentative steps forward.
You do this, Aura, and you jump back as you hear something start to crumble above, and you watch one of these gigantic and imposing brutalist dwarven structures collapse not more than 30 feet ahead of you. And it just starts to crumble to the ground and crushes many of the bodies that line the streets underneath its mass. And it takes a little bit, and it is a horrific thing to observe as it just continues to slowly crumble until only the first 2 floors remain. Slowly breaking apart still as occasional rocks will fall down the landslide.
Try is breathing really heavy and grips their head and just falls to their knees.
Try, you hear something. You hear something, Try. You hear something whispering to you, and at first you can't make out the words that are being said, but your mind is surrounded with a single word. And that word is deserved. And you have to shake it off as you rise yourself back into awakeness and awareness.
No. Try is like they're just like sitting there with their hands in their head, and they just end up just shaking their head and just finally opening their eyes and looking up again. But they look up and then they kind of look away and look towards the floor.
Jubilee, how are you feeling? Gwen? Gwen? Cannot hear you. Okay.
Just...
The sound of the collapsed building slowly echoes throughout the cavern. The reverberations continue, and as you imagine with most noises in this cavern, it will continue for a long time still. Again, Jubilee, how are you feeling?
She's just still. Like, she can't even process this much devastation, and it's just kind of shut her down, basically.
Romeo, what's up?
Romeo is not as phased as the rest of them. Part of him wishes he was as phased as the rest of them.
You've not seen things
he is sadly used to gruesome sights, but he is overwhelmed with the feeling of, I can't fix all of this. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than the money I'm getting for this. This is too much.
Yeah, and I think the worst part about it, Romeo, is that this is quite... You've seen some gruesome sights, and nothing you have seen compares to just the sheer number of bodies that lie before you.
Yeah, he's seen bodies that are in worse shape, but the number of them is just hitting them of, this is too much for us to handle. We're 5 people.
This is essentially a genocide. Auraleia.
Her brain is, in a very familiar way, beginning to go back into just static and not working at all. But then she catches sight of her companions and how shaken they look, and it brings her back, much like the first time. And she looks out among the wreckage, looks at the bodies, and she very slowly starts to move again, to go forward.
The wind whips around you, Auraleia, as you do this, and you feel the strength and feeling in your body that you didn't realize was disappearing. It returns, and you start to slowly approach forward. It's very much gruesome. It is... There are no words to describe the feeling that this amount of lost life brings into your heart, but it is humbling as it is terrifying. Dwarves, tieflings, goblins of all shapes and sizes. You see a couple of Goliaths that you have to look away from for a second. You see a couple of elves, which might even cross you as strange if the circumstances were slightly different, if the circumstances were slightly kinder to you. And you trek onward, and it continues. The destruction continues. It is... You wish you could consider this malicious, Auraleia, but there is no malice great enough in the world to cause devastation like this. Buildings are still crumbling, still falling in the distance, if not already destroyed. The bodies that lie in the streets are in all manner of shape and size. Some are just a bloody, unrecognizable pulp. The most difficult thing to process is just how eerily silent and still it all is.
I'm going to start looking for survivors, even if that is such a far outlandish possibility. I'm just going to start doing it.
That's
I think
smart.
Percy, at this point, kind of takes her hand off her mouth. What happened?
I don't know.
We have to find out what... Because we can't let this happen again anywhere else.
We're already caught up in it as it is, so...
She shakily gets up.
Yeah, he offers his hand to her because they were standing, right next to each other.
She takes it. I have something that might help. Where did Aura go?
just forward. You see her in the distance.
Aura,
She's
come back.
slowly marching forward. Or do you even hear Percy?
Everything is very
Thaumaturgy.
static right now.
You use thaumaturgy to yell.
Mhm.
Aura, you are snapped out of it by this voice that booms, that drowns out all the sounds of the echoes of destruction before you, and you just hear your name, Aura.
Her
And-
head snaps back to look at Percy, and everyone else can see her eyes don't really have pupils in them anymore. It's just pink glow. And then she blinks and they're back to normal. And she very shakily starts scurrying back to you.
You don't seem to notice it, but you all can see it on each other, and it's easy to presume with yourselves. You feel just this you see this trail of water, tears running down each other's faces, and you are all suitably shaken.
Okay.
What do you do?
Percy kind of holds her hand. So, we're going to look for survivors.
Most important, look for survivors.
I have something that will help me with this. It's a spell. I need someone's help to cast it. I should be able to see anyone within 30 feet. Feel them. So we don't have to go digging around or anything like that. And I'm going to cast Detect. It's a concentration spell, lasts up for a minute.
Okay.
And I'm just going to... We have to go fast, or I'll have to cast it again. I can only do this twice. I'm going to look for the most unobstructed route through the city. Or just one that looks like it's less likely to kill me, and just start walking.
You do, Percy, remember that one from earlier, the vision you had about
Left.
going left. Yes.
We go left. And... Yeah.
Yeah, Percy or Romeo is bringing up the rear. He can't hustle. Or he can, but it's uncomfortable to hustle. So he
It is
brings
very
up the rear.
Well, okay. I guess before she cast that, she would have looked over to Jubilee and Try, who are, I assume, catatonic pretty much.
Try is basically on their knees crying.
Try.
No response.
Hand on shoulder.
Try
Try.
bolts up
Try.
and looks towards you.
We're going to look for survivors.
You feel a separate hand on your shoulder, the other shoulder. And in response almost to Percy, you hear this voice say, "You will only find the dead."
There's no one to find.
You don't know that. We're going to look for survivors.
If we don't look, and there are, that's way worse.
Why is your vision blurred, young one? Does it hurt? Do you hurt? Do you feel it? This is what you live for now. This is what you will see over and over again. And I will make sure of it.
Tries like their bodies like collapsing in your hands, and they're just, you notice they're like looking at you, but then they look away, not towards their other shoulder, but they just seem to look at the floor, and they just begin crying. They just begin crying once again.
Wretched soul, wretched soul. Tell me, fill you with fear, knowing what you can do, knowing what you will become. No, and then it's as if something cut this voice off. Try as you feel Percy gripping both of your shoulders now and looking at you head on.
Well, not both.
Well, not both. Sorry.
Romeo's gripping the other one.
Yeah, there we go.
Fair enough.
Teamwork.
Bros.
Bruce.
Why?
Looks up at the both of them. What?
We need someone with strength to do this, alright?
Yeah, if there's people stuck under rubble, I can do my best, but I can't leverage as much. We need you.
Alright?
How's Juby doing?
Yeah,
Romeo squeezes Try's shoulder, and then bro squad goes over the Juby.
Try like gets themselves up and lets them go over to Jubilee, but they're getting up.
Mm-hmm.
Jubilee.
Jubilee, what's happening?
While everyone was like turned away and stuff, Jubilee has approached like the nearest body and is just crouched and is just kneeled down near it.
Are you? I assume.
What?
You are
happened?
not. Jubilee, you feel tears streaming down your face. You feel them connect with the body, and you watch these damp spots grow on it.
Are there any obvious signs of what the fuck?
Some of them look completely unharmed. This one looks like it was torn apart. This one looks like something just mauled it viciously. And as you continue to cry quietly, you see through your tears little spriggans pop up through this hard, coarse earth and start sprouting through this person's body, Jubilee. And then, before you even notice it, an entire bed of flowers has just bloomed from this body, covering it completely from your vision. And as you pull them back to get a closer look at it, you do not see a body anymore. You see a mound of soil with a little pit of bone peeking out from it. A skeleton, and it is grinning back at you. You two are running over to Jubilee, right? Well, all of you, I assume, are rushing over to Jubilee right now.
Maybe not rushing, but Try is taking themselves to Jubilee.
They are moving as quickly as like they are able to consciously do, I'm assuming.
Jubilee.
Not like
Jubilee, are you...
Are you okay?
Oh. Well, that's a...
Well, but
Jubilee. We're going to look for survivors. Kind of stands there waiting.
She just nods.
We might need your help.
She nods.
Alright.
So, Percy, you cast Detect Thoughts. Is this a ritual, or are you just doing it?
No, I can't cast as a ritual. It's too powerful to be a ritual.
Yeah, and I think
just-
also you don't really have the time.
So this is, I cast this, and I am just walking to cover the most ground. I'm just trying to, whatever route that I can figure out that covers the most ground in my minute.
You follow the path that you remember taking in your vision, and you start at a brisk walk. And then you feel yourself moving faster, almost subconsciously. And now you are in a full tilt sprint as you are mortified by what you hear, or what you do not hear. You hear nothing. After scouring these streets, you sprint for a full minute. You are going full tilt. You feel your legs giving out. You feel your own shortness of breath. You sprint forward still, and you find no survivors amongst the wreckage. If there are any, they appear to be too afraid to approach or make themselves known, or too distant for you to hear them. There is not a single voice you hear in your head. You realize as you put your hands to your knees and are taking shaky, hard breaths trying to fill your lungs again. You are in this back alleyway, and you are cloaked in darkness, and you feel more tears streaming down your cheeks, and you feel awful. You feel like death. You feel your legs giving out on you, and now you are on your knees, and you are still breathing heavily and sobbing, and the group now barely just manages to catch up to you. Auraleia is at the front, and Romeo, in spite of his injuries, is right behind, along with Jubilee and Try.
There's nothing. There's nothing. No one survived.
Try's fingers lock up and then just stare down at Percy. You...
What happened here?
You said... Where?
There should be... It's still crumbling. There should be something. There should be someone. It shouldn't be complete... It doesn't make sense that it's complete... Doesn't make sense.
Sorry. Mel, we can't have covered the entire city with just that one
With
run.
just a minute, no.
You have not, but Percy has covered a lot of ground in her sprint, a surprising amount. So this does not bode well whatsoever.
I can... There's still more of the city. I can cast it one more time. We just gotta get in a better position. I just have to make sure that maybe deeper in.
Just take a breath. Take a breath. In and out.
As you are breathing, Percy, give me a... I think this is an Arcana check.
Nice.
The Detect Thoughts spell has long since ended. And yet now here, as you catch your breath, you feel some kind of mental presence. And you hear someone say, "Stay right there. Stay right there. Help is coming. I need you to stay where you are, please."
Nobody move. Just heard somebody. She just kind of presses back to the mental presence with just affirmative.
And before you all know it, you hear something rushing down alleyways. You see dust kicking up from the It seems like movement initially, I should say. Sorry. You see the dust start to kick up around you in these alleyways, dirt and soil and sand reverberating.
Romeo's immediately taking up a defensive stance.
Yeah, try draws their morning star.
I pull out my spear.
It's not until you hear the following that you understand why. It is not a high-pitched sound. If anything, it is a gentle hum. The sound of a tuning fork slamming against something else from far in the distance. And then, faster than lightning, someone is upon you. They are wearing this green sort of ensemble. They have a very, very sad grin across their face, bright green eyes, this vibrantly pink hair, and several pieces of jewelry adorning them, along with a large staff that is covered in frets and strings with a circle atop it that continues reverberating this noise. And she says, well, welcome to the Pithy.
Troy still has their morning star drawn.
And not to be dramatic, and you start to hear something else, and it is not this same calming, humming noise. You hear the sounds of movement in the otherwise empty streets. And she says, there's no time to explain. Take my hand, we're going. Now.
What about the cart?
Dorian.
You hear the sounds of fighting and yelling, and then you hear the galloping of hooves as you see Dorian covered in sweat on top of this horse carriage. It looks like some of the more narrow alleyways that you went through were difficult for him to navigate, but he's here now. And he's looking at you all exhausted. And she looks between you guys and him and says, oh, for fuck's sake. And she slams her staff into the ground, and it floats over to Dorian and just sort of hovers into the air next to him. And she points at it and says, follow that. I'm going to have to guide you back. There's not a moment to waste. Go. And she's already running.
Yeah. Percy, make sure Romeo doesn't fall on his ass.
Yeah, Romeo had gotten into a defensive position, which means he had to put both of his hands on his quarterstaff to fight with, so he was a little unshaky, didn't tried to play it off. But he's like, okay.
Making sure that a little more running.
Let's go. He's going to need the help if we're going into full tilt, because he cannot do it on his, he can't run on his own.
I'll take up the back.
Okay. Try, would you like to give Romeo some support along with Percy as you're full tilt running?
Yes.
Just to help him keep up? Okay. Between the two of you, I think you managed to keep Romeo steady as you are all bolting after her. She is fast. She is faster than you, Auraleia, and that is frightening. You feel your body start to blur as you are moving. Now, you are still in the rear, but you can feel it's as if all the speed you are not using to move forward, you are using for something else. As you think your vision's blurring for a second, and then you realize, no, that's just your body as you continue moving forward. Jubilee, you are in the center of this huddle of larger figures than yourself. As you hear Dorian galloping in the distance down some different pathway that is slightly wider to accommodate for the horses, and you all follow for a good long while. And right now, I think is a good time to take a break, if any.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I can do that.
Fuck. Jesus.
Okay.
Mel, oh yeah, no, you'll have a chance to be back in civilization.
I mean, I assume we're going to a survivor encampment, but that's not really civilization.
Yeah, that ain't civilization.
For once, I really hope the survivors camp doesn't have a map.
Oh.
Yes, map.
No.
Yes.
You know what map means?
Map.
What does that mean? I'm so confused.
It means we fight the survivors.
I don't want to fucking fight.
We're not gonna fight the survivors, but we might have to defend them.
Okay.
I gotta wash my hands.
I gotta go pee real quick. I will be back shortly.
I am
go
covered
pee
in a
as
very
well.
sad ice cream
Piss,
sandwich.
piss.
I'm going to give you some slightly less mortally terrifying music to sort of chill to.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
See you guys in a few.
It's me and you, Qurth.
Me and your Nilla stay here? No.
No, I think everybody else got up.
Nice.
True bros check out their weird new extremities.
Looks like someone's high-fiving the back of your
Looks like someone's high-five in the back of your kneecap. I see.
I see. Oh, what a shithead. Oh my god. I see looking at it. Dude. I got a third eye. Fucked up.
Fucked up if true.
And it is true.
And it is
unfortunately.
true.
I thought I was only getting that shit 10th level,
And you're
but I was like, nah.
And I was like, nah. I think you only get it full time and under your control at 10th level.
Fucking
I think right now
There's
it's just gonna be its own little
fun little thing.
its own fun little guy
My
back
own little-
there
'cause
who
I still have
doesn't
my-
want to look at the strange eyes.
Who is afraid of the strange eyes, which I feel like is a good sign when my literal third eye doesn't want to open to look at this shit. Oh, that's fucking... Glad I went divination. I switched off of evocation to divination, because, like, this shit way more poppin'.
This shit way more poppin'. I gotta copy and paste my leg badness to, like, my page.
Gotcha. Yeah. Dude, I'm okay.
Because this'll run in the thing. Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. Dude, that fucking poem's fucked up if it's us, dude.
Nah.
I'm just worried about a clever I'm worried about the priest mostly. Cause like
I mean,
we got one of
priest
those.
astute. We got one of those.
I'll post it again just for the recording people. We have a priest astute, right? If we wanted to be rude, we could call you or try a wild raving thoughtless brute. If we wanted to be rude.
I mean, it can be one or the other, I suppose.
Yeah.
Even though I think it would be more no bunking on try. I think it would be more on try.
because try blacks out sometimes. But the thing, Craven is like cowardly.
Yeah,
cowardly,
Craven
right?
is cowardice.
Are you a coward, Roob?
No, he is
Brave
specifically.
to a fault.
He is willing to do what must be done. And cowardly is not a trait that he has.
Great.
Yeah, it's all cowardly. If it was a different adjective, maybe, because ravens are.
Like, you don't really have Raven vibes.
I don't really have Raven vibes either, but it could stretch. But Craven, nah.
Like, Try isn't really like cowardly, but like they're nervous.
They're
Which is why I
nervous,
was
but I
like-
don't really put them to Raven either.
Yeah, they're too big to be a Raven.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time right now.
This is unepic, bro.
This is pretty cringe.
And a clever child of ill repute. I'd say your repute's pretty good.
Yeah, my repute's
I
pretty
thought
good.
that's a tiefling thing.
I mean, ill
Oh,
repute could be a
tieflings aren't evil,
tiefling,
though.
but
Like,
they're not
tieflings
evil
are
in this universe,
chill.
though. Tieflings
they're
are just
chill.
kind of
And the thing is, like, Clever's not going to be any of you guys, so.
what?
I flipped my hair.
I mean, ill repute is just like bad reputation.
I got
Is
a
having
great
no
reputation.
reputation a bad reputation?
No, I got a great reputation. I talk myself up 24/7, dude.
What's poppin', gamers?
We're looking at the Dreadnought poem again.
We're just trying to
I'm so
figure out
sorry.
if this is talking about our party or not, and I don't think it is.
I don't
I'm
think
rating it down as I don't think it is.
It doesn't
Yeah,
make
it doesn't.
Oh,
like, the thing is, like-
it could be about survivors.
Oh.
Because it left
okay.
them cold, and the Dreadnoughts, I think, of presumably the force that's making all this bad shit happen.
Yeah, because that's just like a whole ass town. That shit's gone. That shit's gone.
Mhm.
I will say, if that is talking about us, though, it's probably not. Probably not. I think it's leaving out Auraleia.
Me?
That's what I would if this is talking about us. Priest Jubilee, me is ill repute, maybe not really, doesn't really fit. And then Craven Raven doesn't really fit either, but it for sure doesn't fit you. I don't think you have any associations with Raven.
No, not that I know of.
I thought that was the air part.
Oh.
Yeah, but she's
Raven?
not cowardly. Unless there's secrets we don't know.
Anxiety.
Well, you also have anxiety.
We all have anxiety in
Hey, I
this.
don't got shit. I don't got anxiety.
Well, I don't have
I know
like,
what I'm doing all the time.
Rolls bluff.
Listen, man, I don't worry about everything.
Must be nice.
No. The things I worry about, not...
Dude, I have a fucking bullet point in my notes right here that's like, Bryce creepy head voice is being creepy, and I don't like it.
And I don't like it.
You better.
You gained a new friend.
You got a friend.
Gone at this point.
You
He
got a
don't
friend
live-
who Romeo is immediately rubbing off on.
Won't like that.
Friend. You all have invisible friends that talk to you, except for me. When is it my turn on the invisible friend?
When's it my turn on the cryptid?
I summoned mine. I feel like it's different.
It's
You
different.
summoned yours.
Romeo
Don't
doesn't.
always
Romeo
is
doesn't
important.
like his cryptid. Okay,
Yeah,
they're not
but
friends.
He has one. Has one. Apparently, Gaia. I
Gaia's
think
a
Gaia's
few.
starting to talk.
I think Gaia's I think Jubilee's cryptid is Gaia, which kind of transcends cryptid.
That's just a god. But you're right, Aura. You don't have. Well, I mean, you have a girlfriend that leaves you fun little flower. That's cryptic.
About that.
Oh. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Well, that's an issue for us to deal with later, I suppose.
Let's square that away for now. Because
What are you talking about? Sorry.
Genocide
Yeah.
and the
Hello.
poem.
You're talking about just general.
We were
stuff.
just having our, like, poem theories and, you know.
Is
Okay.
Gwen dead?
What?
Actually, I'll be right back real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's your valid. Gwen's not back yet, so. Yeah.
Man, I'm not gonna be able to refuse to spend money now.
That's for later. That's
There's Gwen. Hi, Gwen.
It's fine.
Hey.
Hi,
I just got some popcorn, and while I was upstairs, my mom was watching baseball, and I was like, "Oh hey, you winning?" And she said, "Nah, you."
No.
Nope.
Are you winning, son? Winning D&D? Are you winning,
I
Gwen?
just wandered into a Harmonious Bosch painting, so I think we're a bit wherever that puts us.
Yeah, I think we're losing. Just like as a general thing, I think we are losing.
I think the like human race is losing. Not like just humans, but like you know what I mean when I say the human
people.
the common race,
The common folk.
the
are
royal
losing.
we.
The royal we are losing. Y'all, we gotta
Bro,
go.
I've been losing.
Gotta go.
I've been losing for like 5 years in this game.
Dude, we literally, every morning we wake up, we lose a little bit more. Every time I take notes, the notes that are the most extensive should be the fucking mornings we wake up and shit's just fucked.
Shit's
I will
always
say,
fucked.
I wrote down my favorite quote, which was the worm coming out of fucking Jubilee's ear, and Trent's going, "Is that yours?"
Is that yours?
Well, this is
God,
my
I love trying.
This is my last penguin chocolate bar. Hopefully, it brings me luck.
Oh, you should have eaten it
That would-
beforehand.
Hang on, I'm gonna get a bar real quick.
Also, I'm pretty sure that Vengeance is like my uncle's name or something. So that's kind of fucked up that I summoned
That's gotta
like
be
a
like
magical
your great
person. I'm
uncle or
uncle-
some shit.
Not my father's side of the family, because my mom's a fucking elf, and they don't fucking name their
And,
kids weird shit.
Yeah, they named them Jubilee.
Well, I have a younger brother and sister. Their names are Delilah and Dave. Because she was like, no.
She was like,
you
no
cannot-
more of
I'm
this
not
shit.
naming my kids any more weird shit. You got
You
three.
got 3.
That's enough.
All right. Are we ready to get back into it?
Nilla's.
I think
Nilla-
Or wait,
Sorry,
wait.
my box is
Okay,
back.
cool.
Pumbas, are you here?
Yeah.
So,
Did we
real
get
quick,
any last time?
did we get any questions last time? I don't
Nah.
think so.
Okay.
In,
sure
in
we
the
question-
future, though, when we are watching it back, I will always look. I was there and I didn't see any questions
Yeah.
during the streaming. So,
It's fine.
okay. Real
Let's
quick,
ask us questions so we can info dump.
real quick vibe check. I just wanna get a general overview. That's not a joke, Roob. Don't laugh at me.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. I want to get a general overview of what everybody's feeling. I have suspicions.
That.
What, like
Yeah.
out of character or in
But
character?
in character, I want.
What's happening?
At the current moment, Romeo is pretty focused right now.
Yeah, I think
There is
Percy's
a
in the
clear
mindset
there is
of-
a clear goal and survivors somewhere, so he is focused.
Yeah, I think Percy right now, her thing is, I gotta find out what the fuck happened here so we can make sure that doesn't happen anywhere else.
Okay. Auraleia.
I'm pretty much just
Autopilot.
autopilot, making sure that I'm keeping up the rear and making sure nobody else is falling behind. Because I can't really stand to think about anything else right now, or I will probably just fall.
Yeah, that's a good sort of thing. Jubilee, what are you feeling right now? Okay.
Sorry, I was chewing.
Fair enough.
I think Jubilee is like actually elated. Just oh, thank gods, there's someone who we can still save.
Okay, I like that. I think that's a very Jubilee way to look at things. A very positive way to look at things. I do want to. And you.
Try doesn't want to accept what's going on. Try halfway hasn't accepted what's going on. Try is probably halfway and everything is wrong and bad, it is your fault. And halfway into just please get me out of here.
Oh, Gwen, you're crunching.
Oh, my bad. I'll mute.
Okay. So, with that in mind,
I just don't
all.
think Try has any good thoughts right now.
Yeah, that's fair. With that in mind, you all are sprinting through these back alleyways of streets. It is exhausting, and you feel like your lungs are on fire as you continue sprinting. Poor Percy, you were already running full tilt and had barely a second to breathe before you're at it again. But here you are racing after this young woman through the streets of the once lively city before you. It feels hollow, like a shell of itself, a empty pearl in the center of the world. But you don't have much time to linger on that as you continue forward and onward, and suddenly you stop. She stops dead in her tracks and starts then, after a beat, moving forward slowly for you to all catch up. And you look up, and if elegant brutalism is how you would describe the architecture in the majority of the Pithy, this is the epitome of that. Before you stands what could be practically assumed to be a palace, but no, not a palace. There is no air of royalty to what you see before you. It is an academy. The largest building around that you can see that still stands. It is a tall spire reaching upward and upward into, well, where the sky would be. It is almost a pillar central to the city, supporting the entire weight of this nation, with bright young minds for the future. And the woman you have been following turns around and grins at all of you and bows and says, "Well, now that you're not running for your life, welcome to Curio's Academy of Queries and Ponderings. Let's get you all inside." You hear Dorian bringing up the rear as he brings the horses to a quick halt, skirting behind you, just barely managing to stop a meter away from the back of the party where you are situated, Romeo. And he just stares up at this imposing structure as you all begin to head inside. Let me bring you to the map. Sorry.
Type out what the name of that thing is, because
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how to spell it. Yeah, in there. I think Percy is just kind of like what, like in the what the fuck mode. There's only
That
one
is how
clue
you
in
spell
there.
that.
Wow.
Cack.
Yeah, as everyone knows of it. All right, let me bring you all to the map.
Romeo takes a second to catch his breath.
Percy's also taking a second to catch her breath because she is not used to running.
Romeo is not used to running when he can't.
Might as well be running.
Running on
Okay.
this.
Oh,
Yeah, man!
Oh no.
Oh no.
Fuck.
So
This
you
doesn't
all
look like a fight map.
arrive
Yeah.
in the foyer. You are walking now across these lavish carpeted tiles of wool and satin, and something else you can't really identify as you all march forward into the room. Sorry, I should mention, she turns to the rest of your group now. My name is Dr. Winnie Flendrago, but you can just call me Winnie.
Nice to meet
Nice to
you,
meet you.
Winnie.
We
Well,
have
Wish it was under
So
better
many questions.
circumstances, but we have a lot of questions.
Romeo, that's the railing. Do you really want to sit on
Oh,
the
shit!
railing?
I didn't know.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You can lean on the railing. I think that's more than acceptable because you are.
Swap.
I also wish it were under better circumstances, but what to say?
how long has it been like this?
Well, to be perfectly honest, you see her now standing at her full height. She is elven, and she has very long, lanky limbs. She's holding this staff that was floating next to Dorian for a while now in her hand, and it is planted firmly on the ground. Well, it would be shortly after the caravan arrived from topside. I should say shortly before. That would have been about, I think, a month ago at this point.
But
Yes.
we
Out-
saw
out-
a cart, but that's not the whole caravan.
No, that is not the whole caravan.
Did
The caravan is several carts.
they?
Well, some of them did, and they spoke of some treacherous riding on the way in here. And so some guards were sent to investigate. They did not make it back, and we feared the worst. And so we sent out more patrols, and none of them came back. And eventually we ended up in the situation that we are in here. We have many of the sick and injured from, well, I shouldn't say many. She looks kind of dejected and depressed towards the ground. Many of what remains. We have a large number of what we believe to be the remaining population of the city. Here.
The nails?
So I see you're also shrewd.
We have a number of people that we encountered and wanted to try and get to medical attention here, but
Well, you
didn't-
come to the right place. Thankfully. the academy is housed with some of the most experienced medical professionals possibly in all of Wesotrim, which you know to be the world at large. That is what the world is called. It's often abbreviated to WO, but she seems to be using the full title in this circumstance.
Do you know about the
She kind of cocks her head at you.
Percy
and sort of
looks
at
at
you up and
Try.
down.
Like a.
Are you referring to those little things in the center of those creatures? Some of them.
Alright.
Yes, we're referring to those. Or Try was.
Well, there is, walk and talk with me.
Yeah,
There's not much to see here. Many of our classrooms are currently boarded up. That's not distrust of visitors. Don't worry. It's just
Necessary.
we're expecting to be invaded pretty much constantly. Auraleia, you're speaking to this person.
Well,
or no?
I was just looking because the icon's very familiar.
It is. It is a goblin guard, and they sort
They're
of.
standard goblin guards.
Okay, so either the last couple of times we saw that face much attacked, so I was on edge.
That's fair.
all.
They do have relatively uniform haircuts and clothing, so it is unsurprising. You kind of like stare at them with a start, and they sort of look back at you, startled with the intensity of your look, but quickly you sort of break eye contact and keep moving, I assume.
Yeah.
Well, to put it simply, those crystals are very similar in nature to whatever those nails are.
Yes.
It is a power source. It is fueled by something mostly arcane, although I cannot explain what it does purely through an understanding of magic. And believe me, I should have properly introduced myself. I am a junior professor here. I am the frontmost expert in experimental arcana here. So you can imagine my distress knowing that this exists and I have no full understanding of what it is.
You don't know.
I can't say that I don't know. I do know some things, but
We may wish to speak privately on this matter, specifically for a. I have some information that you may not have, Qurth.
she just sort of like quickly nods at you and says, "Right, we will discuss that privately then."
Yes.
Under his breath, nerds compare notes.
Percy like stepped on his foot.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
You get vibe checked.
Ow!
She
Ow!
pokes you on the head with this staff. I'll appreciate you to not call me a nerd, thank you.
He's still got the grin.
Oh, she has a grin. She has a
When
grin
she
too.
says when she says that, Percy just kind of cracks a wider. So like, this is a professor. If anyone is a nerd, like it's gonna be her.
No, she is smirking at you too. It is very clearly like, yeah, I hear that all the time. And her smile kind of weakens a little bit as she continues to march forward. Good. But all you need to know is that you're. Wait, hold on. She spins back around to face you, and there's like this sudden realization on her face. How did you make it in here?
Well,
Elaborate.
As in, you're not an army. We sent out a rescue party to the surface that was supposed to bring back an army.
We were sent by a group to check out what happened. I don't think your rescue party made it to the surface.
Well,
They did. Were she kind of Percy points towards? Were they this kind of garb?
They were standard guards. Yes, we had a
Then
couple of
there might be
archers
some of
and some younglings were there to.
Your rescue party is in the back of our caravan. They attacked us. They have the nails in the back of it. They were...
Her entire demeanor just deflates. Like, every like, happy thought she seemed to be thinking, all the glee that was in her voice is just gone.
They made it outside of the pithy, but... not...
We still don't know how this happens. Oh, the one most frustrating thing, and you'll have to understand, you're going to be checked. You're going to be examined briefly. Because we don't know how these things spread.
That's
we know
why...
that people show up with nails in their necks.
That's why I want to talk privately about something that is probably important.
If there are nails, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask
There's
you
no
to...
nails.
Okay, alright. Fine. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
But it's information that is important.
And I do need to say, I wasn't sent here to help out the town or to check on the pithy. I was sent here because I have experience with the nails. I've seen cases outside of your guards.
How far out from the pithy? She is now rushed up to you, Try, and she is grabbing you by your collar. How far?
Do you know Flagstone?
She lets go of you, and she looks shocked and mortified.
A young gentleman that
He was older. He was an older man. He was an older man, I will say.
A gentleman that I knew was found trying to maul his family.
Was that the only case?
I saw the guard. There's a doctor in Flagstone who's researching it.
Okay, good.
I don't know if there's... But they
More
haven't been getting any answers. They sent me to get some.
She wouldn't because she doesn't have a sample of it, I'm assuming. You probably lost him, right?
I went to check on the daughter. We turned around and he had bolted out the door and we could never find him.
Okay. It's not contagious, and I'm sure you would have noticed if he had any of these things on him, so it's probably fine, but it's important that that person, whoever they are, is located soon.
I'm afraid that's much too... This was months ago.
She just puts her head in her hands and screams. She looks so frustrated. This is familiar to you, Try. You saw this on Aurora's face.
So you have no answers.
I have some answers, but none that are... Okay. General debriefing. Here's what we know. These bolts, as you probably are aware, they control people. Whatever they're doing, it's controlling them. It's making them not act themselves, and they do brutal things. They will attack people on sight and just maul them. They will cause massive amounts of destruction with seemingly no goal. The only things that they don't try to destroy are each other. But they will continue to cause harm and malice until that is dealt with. Until it progresses.
But
the initial stages of it are almost insurmountable for something like rabies. Right? It's this wildness, it's this irrationality, lack of control over oneself.
And it gets worse as the bolt goes deeper.
Yes. And once it penetrates the skull fully and starts sinking into gray matter, that is when it starts to completely encapsulate the brain, which I'm not going to get into the details because it's quite nasty, but it then starts to branch out from there and covers its victims in this strange outer layer of metallic something or other.
Oh boy.
And then the further it progresses, the more metallic the body becomes. It starts to alter the physical structure until it is just a husk.
Bird.
The birds are something different. They are
How long ago did they start showing up? A month?
a little over a month ago, yes. Before
Over a month?
before the caravan arrived. So just to address the timeline real quick.
Yeah.
The caravans leave and come back 2 weeks later. It's about a 2-week trip in total. They waited 2 weeks after the caravan did not arrive, and then sent you guys out. So that is a month total.
You know the big thing that happened in my backstory?
Yes.
Does that line up before the bird started appearing, or does that line up after?
That would have been about a week before. At least a week, if not
My
2
thing
weeks.
happened a week before.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks
I will say 2 weeks, because I think that's what we said at the time.
Okay, makes sense. All right.
You can address that, but it was definitely before enough.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm not gonna...
But you said that they harm everything but each other.
Yes.
But the ones that we found on the road here
They were fine.
before they were fighting. We
They were
assumed they had been
probably-
fighting each other.
They were probably in the middle of turning each other. I don't understand why or how, but some of them are carrying these nails. And so if there was a fight, it's most likely that they were in the middle of turning each other.
Can they be removed?
We've seen some success with early, and I do mean early, instances of it. If it has not fully penetrated, it is possible. We have seen some good results in people who are in somewhat later stages, but we're still experimenting. It is difficult, and obviously we do not harm people, so the more dangerous it is to their lives, the less willing we are to take the risk. Is there anybody in your group that has been showing signs of consciousness or of early?
Yes.
Yes, we have a couple. Mostly one.
She was trying to escape earlier.
Bring her to me immediately. Immediately, go, run.
I will go do that.
Okay. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Oh,
Guess I'm sorry to bring more stuff on you.
No, the fact that
Yes,
you've come here tells me that you are.
There is something else that is very important that I do think may...
Once your compatriot comes back, the wagon man, is he involved in this, or would...
He's
Part of our group.
part of the group that was sent down here.
If
He's
it's
involved
urgent, I
in
will
it
wait
now.
for your compatriot, but the horseman, he can go and tend to everything else and bringing them in first. We cannot wait if it's that urgent.
Yes, that's probably...
Not that long. And as you are talking, you see this large man. He's a hobgoblin. Standing at about 6'5", just sort of lumbers over to you and sort of like adjusts his spectacles and looks at you curiously.
Which one is he looking at? Anyone in particular, or just the
He is
crew?
looking at all of you.
Okay.
Professor Flandrago. Demetrius, you... Please call me by my last name. It is... I am Professor Marr. It is nice to encounter any other survivors.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Wait. dot. Looks over at Percy like, am I dumb or...
Hey, do I know this? Hey, is this dude, like, important?
He looks at you and he can clearly, like, by your expressions, and he rolls his eyes and he goes, Yes, that kind of Marm. I am a descendant of Adelaide Marm, the first and foremost, not monarch, empress by name, but it's a democracy. Well, it's not worth explaining. The first leader of Marm's Pity. I am not a politician myself, no. Do not worry yourselves.
I don't think politics are too important right now.
Certainly not. An apt description. Hold on a second.
I'm a
Squints at
Vidal.
you. He kind of. You say that, and he kind of. Roll me an insight check. He makes a face for like a half second.
What kind of face?
Like a you face?
Like a not like a you a Protestant face, but like a oh I see face, and then
Do you have an issue with the Vidal?
he waves a hand and says, "It's nothing to concern yourself with.
As a
You
Vidal,
are.
I feel like it is.
There are more important things." to
As a
discuss right now."
survivor, I think there's more important stuff than whatever family issues are
We
happening.
will talk late. Hold on a second. He's standing across the group, and he looks at you, Percy, and he looks at Romeo, and he looks at Winnie and says, "Professor," and she says, "Professor," and he says, "Were you going to alert me to the fact that they were injured, or was I to find that out myself?" Well, the Chancellor is the most competent at surgery, and do you think she has the time right now, Miss Flendrago, to be dealing with newcomers?
Don't
He is grilling her pretty hard right now.
I would.
don't
I mean,
worry
we
about
walked
us.
in-
We
walked in the
came
door.
here.
We have more important things than our injuries currently. Things that are probably more important than a lot of things. Kind of looks back like, "What the fuck is over here yet? I need."
Yeah, should I come back?
Yeah,
Like,
sure, absolutely.
I don't want to get grilled by this dude anymore. This fucking dude.
You said to go get the person, so I assume.
Yeah. You ran and got the person.
Okay.
As you run back in, the Professor Marm adjusts his glasses again. These are like smaller spectacles, and he sort of looks to Winnie and says, "You're incredibly lucky, Miss Fundrago." And he grabs the body from you, Auraleia, and says, "I'm going to run this to Chancellor Zezo. I trust you will take care of your new charges." "Yes, Professor." "Excellent."
Percy's giving this guy just the damn dude, chill out eye right now.
And he races off until you cannot see him anymore.
All right, him notwithstanding, let's get into some.
I am so sorry about him. He's a really nice guy when you get to know him. I promise. He's just very.
Romeo just kind of
Like
waves
that.
his hand like.
It's not important.
Okay, sure.
It's academia. This happened.
Okay, we'll head to the library, and you can tell me all about this. It is the most private meeting area I can think of at the moment. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. And she grabs you all, and you are brought to the library. So let me move you to
Wow.
Books.
That's where Jubilee wants to be.
I'm going to copy you all here. Sorry, I didn't have your tokens here earlier, so I need to just really quickly adjust them.
Yeah,
Books.
it's
I thought
Gucci.
Books.
That
oh,
bitch
one of us
looks
did it.
us up and down and is like, "You're injured, bitch. We be hiding our injuries. Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
No, I know. You know. He's just a bitch.
Calling us
That is immediately like, "You two are injured.
injured little
Why,
bitches, huh?
injured little bitches? You're gonna inconvenience us." Like, nah, bitch.
Jubilee has access to this
Jubilee.
library.
I think we all have library access currently.
I think no, that is
brought her
actually that
library.
will be important. Thank you for reminding me of that. Because obviously you did just arrive here, so if you need access to things in this library, you have those. Even though they may be a little less trusting typically than usual. So let me bring you to the library map. You all enter this library. It is massive. Jubilee, this is the biggest library you have ever seen. Percy, this is the biggest library you have ever seen.
Percy does not look excited.
You do not look excited. Really?
Percy's
Oh.
not gonna look excited.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I gotta.
You gotta. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He just elbows you like, nerd.
You see the smallest smirk.
Fuck you.
Never
No!
mind, you see that.
No!
You see
No!
fuck all.
Jubilee looks very excited.
Percy looks
Damn
around.
it! Yammer!
No, you can't call me a nerd, motherfucker.
You look disinterested on the outside. I assume
Pretty
on
cool.
the
It's
inside.
pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Pretty fucking cool.
She's
Yeah.
not gonna go like apeshit over it, but it's pretty.
It's pretty cool. And Dr. Flindrago, sort of sits you all at a oaken table, a wide oaken table, and you just see these massive like assortments of. There's fiction, nonfiction, things specifically delving into the Arcana. Everything you could ever imagine from a library is here, and she folds her hands in front of herself and says, "All right, let's talk about that particular thing."
We're going to start with none of us have been showing any signs of any of the male influence, and I can cast a small amount of magic, including detect magic. And
Wait, I do want to mention, did you tell them about Carbuncle?
oh fuck, I forgot.
I mean,
Something
that
about
was
Carbuncle.
what Romeo was talking about when he said mainly one. He didn't know about.
Auraleia, did you remember Carbuncle when you ran out there?
To bring her in?
Yes, like as in a Carbuncle and also the person you specifically injured.
Fuck.
Would you?
I thought you guys were talking about Carbuncle.
I'm talking about the one that fucking tried to grab Aura.
Well, Aura's the only one who would have,
True. But she was conscious, like, during the battle.
She was a bit more conscious. Well, I think just a little bit of retcon of...
Yeah, like...
When Auraleia comes back with just her, Romeo would have been like, oh, yeah, the other one.
You
Remember
wouldn't forget
Carbuncle?
this. You wouldn't remember the wolf that bit you. You brought both of them in.
Yeah.
They're both in the caravan too, so I assume you'd have
you would have
Yeah.
seen them.
and been like,
Yeah,
oh,
I would have
her
probably
too.
grabbed them both. I'm sorry.
What took you a
but-
long time was that you were carrying two people. Like, by the way, when Professor Marm grabbed them, it was like he was like lifting nothing at all. He slung both of them over his
He's a
shoulders.
bitch
just
and
went.
strong. God.
He's a very big, strong bitch. So, tell me everything you know.
So, I have a small amount of magic, including detect magic, and I saw the magic's grip on the people with the nails in their heads' brain, the way it spirals up. During our travels, we fought against a larger construct, the birds, with the crystal shards at the heart, and it...
You fought one of the large ones.
Yes, and it exploded.
No. How are you alive?
I
It was
don't
just
know.
all of you, right? It was just all of you and that old man.
Us
Yes,
and
we're
Dorian.
alive, but
Dorian, I'm sorry.
yes, no, we survived it because we were sent here to investigate something that was potentially dangerous, so all of us are at least somewhat combat trained. So this is we
no,
may not.
you don't understand. That is impossible. We have armies here. We have military and police, and we threw so many at the larger ones, and they couldn't take them down.
Well, we did.
How did? All right.
And
I mean, I'm
the-
going to take your word for it.
Well, there's more than
important part
a
of it is-
word.
the important part of it is that when it died, it exploded into a shard of crystal, and with that, she is going to pull up her sleeve.
Do you pull? Okay, yeah.
That embedded into every single one of us.
By the way, I think your unseen servant has
But disappeared like way before.
disappeared way before. I think as you were running, I think
Well,
Vengeance
definitely.
disappeared sometime during
Yeah,
this
it's
sprint.
constant. Yeah.
We left Vengeance back there.
I think Vengeance was helping support Romeo for the majority of that, and then just sort of
Aw.
vanished at one point.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
My buddy.
So you show her these crystals in your shoulder, and Percy, they have grown since you saw them this morning.
They are growing consistently, and the magic trace is not unlike the one of the nail, except it is way less invasive.
May I?
Yes. They are. I can. You can take off the potato sack or try the hood.
My shirt?
Oh, please don't undress. She like puts a hand to her face.
Romeo's got that grin of.
Keep that on. She is.
I've taken enough anatomy. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just going to look. It's going to be bad.
Nah, I'm mostly joking, but they are under my shirt, so.
Okay.
It's not there is considerable growth from all of them, and they do not appear to be detrimental because. And she moves over. Try your hand, please.
Pumps.
Oh,
Your hand, please.
Troy reluctantly like kind of ungrips their fist and sticks out like their hand and like splays their fingers to show off the crystal nubs.
Percy, as you're like grabbing Tri's hand, you're looking up at them when they don't immediately like respond to you. You could swear Tri has grown. Not since this morning, but now that you're looking at them, in comparison to the first day you saw them, you could almost swear they are larger.
I'm just gonna chalk that up to weird ghost bitch bullshit and continue on my scientific explanation of these.
Yeah, your scientific explanation, no worries, it's totally fine. You hand their hand over to Winnie, and she examines it with awe.
You can cast detect magic. I think that is something that would be very useful in the situation.
I mean, she is already doing it. You can see that she's not bothered casting it as a ritual.
Yeah, she's just using a spell slot on that motherfucker.
Her eyes are a bright, glowing green, and she is tracing along your palms, Tri, and up your arm till about your forearm, and then
Also,
she
please-
looks at the rest of you,
Be-
and she has to cover her eyes.
Before you go too deep into the tech magic thing, there is some
Now
magic.
I'm already sort of
Yes.
understanding what you mean.
Not all of them are crystal. His scars aren't crystal related. Her body
What?
being magical, that's not crystal related. The
Oh
green
my
vein,
god,
not
it's like
crystal
looking at the
related.
sun. It's like looking at the sun.
Yeah, don't look. Okay, maybe.
Can you turn it off?
No, I don't think any of us can turn it off here. This
Well,
is
I
gonna.
know.
Be...
I can't turn. Hold on.
I'll just. He stands up and walks away to the other side of the room.
You're like the least difficult. You're like
Wait, me?
You look like a tiger or some shit. It's fine. Everybody else
What-
is.
wait.
Oh shit! I look like a tiger.
All the lines. All the lines.
No, he's just kind of looking down at himself, like, oh shit.
The way
What?
Percy
Wait, I.
described the way Percy described it, I thought I'd look kind of neat.
You're very
You
bright.
do.
is the
It's just
issue.
a lot to look at.
I will say, if
Hold on.
what
Okay. I'm just going to. And she puts like her hands around her eyes like goggles. This is supposed to work for the sun. If I just do this slowly enough, but my eyes will adjust. Give me a second.
Who do you specifically think? Do you think the Romeo
Um,
might be the best for the crystal? If you
All of you are quite some. Romeo is.
But I
Oh, is
do-
that the? You. She points at you, Romeo.
Huh?
Can I get names actually, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a lot. I'm Romeo. Gestures to the rest of the party.
Auraleia.
He waits for somebody else to go because she wants to be last.
I'm Jubilee. I'm a cleric.
Troy does not notice Percy and is being kind of sad right now.
That's try.
And I'm Persecution Vidal. You can call me
Yes.
Percy though.
Professor Marm seemed a bit unhappy about that. To be honest, I have no idea what you're talking about.
My father is a important figure. Something might have gone wrong at some meeting or what. But
Wouldn't be surprised. Demetrius does not exactly have the nicest personality, so don't take it personally.
We'll ask
Anyways.
very quickly though. Am I equally bright to those three? Because that's an issue.
So it is as if now she's like looking at you normally. It's as if you're it's like a tattoo in a similar way to him. Does that make sense?
Is it on the back of my neck?
It is all over your body.
That's just great.
It is a series of I feel like I'm being watched because it's a lot of eyes.
Oh, that's fun.
Cool.
All right, cool. That's new. All right, the crystals are what's important here.
Yes, I'm trying to distinguish them from.
They're the ones of the different. It's the same type of magic as the ones.
You're probably best with me. They don't seem to like mixing with my other shit.
Yes, it's much easier to distinguish. Are you bleeding magic?
Apparently.
Okay, that's another thing.
Not related to
Unrelated
You
issue.
all are the weirdest individuals I've come across. You know this?
I cast detect magic on my first day meeting everybody. It's gotten weirder.
Oh, good. That's fantastic.
Apparently, I grow leaves now.
Yeah, no, she grows roots too. You do both, Jubilee.
I just assumed
Oh,
you had
yeah, the
ran
roots
through a
is new.
brush and... The what, sorry?
The root.
Oh, that explains
Roots.
that. Yeah.
Huh? Explain why.
She's a cleric of Gaia.
She looks at you like...
Mm-hmm.
She just turns her head and just stares at you agog, Percy.
Look at Jubilee. Look at her, and then tell me that it doesn't make sense.
No, it's just that we live in Gaia's domain down here, and that's a pretty big thing to say.
Well, it's true, so.
Okay. I entrust you in spite of the...
I mean, she's lit up like a Christmas tree, quite literally. So.
No, that's fair.
Is it evergreen shaped? I thought it was.
Well, it's any shape you're standing in, I would assume.
It is like your entire body has sprung branches and roots. And I don't know if this is the part that doesn't make sense to me. It's wrapping itself also around you with those other... I assume that's the crystal because it looks like the magic from the nails. Spiral. It's like it's tracing along them. I don't like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I will say, don't look at Try for too long.
Wait, why should I not look at
Oh no!
Try has kind of noticed that they've stopped looking at their hand as like talking with the group, and Try has kind of walked off.
It's not a good
Wait
idea.
there. Where'd they go?
Not very far, like. Just
Okay.
away from
Oh,
her.
there. Oh, hey.
They're haunted, I think? That's what I'm going with. That's not related to the crystals, though.
Understand.
Neither do I.
No, I'm not seeing. Never mind. Maybe I'm just.
It
Whatever.
might not like you. It's conscious.
Well, that's awful mean to say. She looks kind of hurt.
Hey, you don't want it to like you. It smiled at me and I felt like it was going to steal my soul. Whatever they've got going on is not fun.
Alright, well...
But that's not our issue right now. We're talking crystals.
This is a lot of information to take in at once.
The crystals are what's important.
Okay, She's like examining you, Romeo?
Yeah, he's like taking off his shirt at this point. Just for like not even in the, even though he gives Percy the look, he doesn't do anything else.
She doesn't look interested in you in that way even remotely.
Yeah, he doesn't expect her to, but he's still like got that shit-eating grin at Percy for just a sec before it goes away.
Right. You are correct about them growing inside of you. More correct than you'd probably like to be.
Yes, that happens a lot lately.
No, I mean your... I don't think it's the rest of you just yet. do you happen to have anything that seems to be, I don't know, connected to your bloodline or anything, Mr. Romeo?
I think so.
Because that would explain the faster spread of this. Well, there's no really good way to say this, is there?
Give it to me
I
straight, Doc.
Tell. Oh, I've wanted somebody to say that for so long. Okay.
The smile.
You're quite charming. The crystal has grown around your heart.
Okay.
It's encased it entirely.
Ooh.
Okay, Percy kind of steps closer at this point.
It's harder.
Can I hear? Like, I remember I was able to hear his heartbeat.
You can hear his heart beating, and now instead of the normal thump of a heart, it almost sounds like a very quiet chiming noise. And it sounds like it reverberates a little bit around in his body.
Do you feel any different, Romeo?
Does he?
No, I mean, it weirdly enough, like, you felt really, really sore this morning, but now you feel great. Even after sprinting that, like, long distance, you feel great.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm feeling good.
Crystals don't seem to be the negative effect currently, so...
Until they overtake my body and I turn into a giant crystal guy or some shit.
Well, no, if that were going to happen, this would have already done it, because... She looks at the rest of you.
Just say, because I feel like dancing around what's happening.
That one has it in their brain. She's pointing to Try.
Try is like...
I guess that makes sense.
It is their entire... you wouldn't know what this is. So there's, like, parts of the brain, and there's a front...
How much?
Stupid to say.
Percentage?
It's like the first... it's about the first 10% of the front and the back.
That's nice. What else?
Sounded
Sounded like you were starting a list, and that's not a good thing, but we had to know what we have to...
Well, the entire arm here, and she, like, reaches out to touch your arm, Percy?
I mean, she can't really move it away, so... It's non-functional, so...
Well, maybe it will be soon. Probably not. At the very least, it is housing a lot of that crystal. If we were to make an incision, it would probably be entirely crystal on the inside.
Percy looks over at Try like, how the fuck are you crystal brain right? Okay, what else?
Try is just kind of, it's like,
Well,
Try's standing, Try's like sitting down and kind of just fumbling with the hood. This just
Well-
feel kind of awkward.
with her, and she points to Jubilee. The weird other holy magic, I guess, is sort of interweaving with the paths. I'm not sure if it's which one's following the other, but it's like they're intertwining. So it's not in any specific area, but it is a lot. She turns and points to you, Auraleia. I have
What is it?
your lungs
My lung?
are covered in the crystals, and as far as I can tell, it's spreading upwards from the trachea into your mouth, and around your like ears. They're kind of burrowing further down your neck, and I think one might be trying to do something to your spine.
I'm going to sit down.
Alright, that's...
Sorry, I'm hiccup.
Okay, well, that is... something. They aren't painful, and they feel like they're part of our bodies, from what I can tell.
makes sense because the nails have a similar function, I suppose. They don't feel, though, for sure. They do not. You cannot feel the nails. So.
And the magic is similar. Like you see the same item.
Yes, very, but it's definitely not the same.
Yes. I will also ask, do you have any remnants of the robotic creatures around here? Because I may have some sort of lead to the creation of those.
We have not been able to defeat many of them, to be
Do
perfectly
they attack?
honest. Yes, and occasionally. They haven't attacked in a while, but that's because we've been pretty much closed inside. I've gone for occasional scouting missions, myself because I'm the fastest one here, but it's so hard. And it's so hard to justify going outside, and I've still been attacked a couple times. And
How many
escaped.
survivors are here? How many people survived in the whole city?
$152.
Is this counting those with nails in there?
She kind of sadly nods, and that makes up about 30 of them. We were a city of thousands. Almost breaching 10,000 strong before. So it's quite a lot to take in. If we're going to make it through this, we need to be so cautious and careful. I am sorry you all are here. I'm sorry that you all have to face whatever this is. I'm genuinely very, very sorry that you got yourselves all wrapped up in this mess, because it is just a mess.
Well, it's not like we can undo it now, and
It's not your fault.
if anything, we might be able to help. Because if none of your armies can take down the birds, and we can,
We don't
That's
have
something
any
we can
armies
help with.
anymore.
well,
I guess
We
we're a
barely have
small
enough.
one.
I think I can figure out more about these things if I get access to one of the robotic.
Then what do you need from me? I will do whatever it takes.
I mean, she kind of looks at the rest of. It feels like this is going to. We just need to find one and get it down here. That's all I need personally. Figure more of this out, but I don't really know what the plan is overall. Like, do you all plan to stay down here? Would you want, if it can happen, to escape to the? What's the future plan here?
Leans back on like whatever stool he was sitting in.
Like it's not. I know it's not the choice of just one person, but this is something that we're going to have to figure out in order to proceed forward, because we're not going to be able to stay down here.
I'm not getting paid enough for this. Well, this seems like a problem that's bigger than our individual problems. So I've got your
Yes.
back, P.
Just kind of. Yes, It feels also like our individual problems are kind of happening alongside whatever this is.
If you are all willing to save our city and what remains of it, I would be. And she's just openly weeping now. She says, "I would be indebted to you for the rest of my life. If you
Well,
would be willing to help us out, that would be the most
Well-
important thing to me."
we're not exactly going to just leave to the surface without doing anything, are we? Right?
That seems like covering up a problem with a band-aid, and not even getting out the band-aid, just leaving.
Do you know
Yes.
Do you know if more reinforcements are coming at all?
Don't think so. We were a small...
Flagstone doesn't have, like, the amount of time it would take would be another month, probably,
month.
before
And
armies came in from,
It's not like they would think that, like, oh, there's a huge problem down there. They're like, oh, well, the problem's big enough that a party of 5 couldn't handle it. Which isn't like a huge thing. That's like send a bigger party next time. That's not like a send the armies.
So it would be a while before anything constructive got done, and you don't know if you guys would even survive that long, honestly.
We're not going to be able to get any help from the surface. We have to figure out what the 152 of you left want to do, because we could try and make it for the surface with all of you.
It hasn't worked before, and I'm going to be proper honest. Whenever anyone has, air quotes, escaped, clearly what I thought was escaping last time was just getting infected.
Well, no one's ever made it down here alive before either, and we're right here. So.
But what I'm saying is that anybody who makes it to the surface, even if they made it out successfully, there's just another waiting to take their place. And they follow right back up to the surface. Surely you met another opposing force after you dealt with whatever was sitting at the top, right?
Well, I'm not speaking of small forces. I am speaking of a migration of the people here. I'm not saying right away. I'm just saying that staying in a where people are, where this is originating from, may not be the best decision over the long course of.
Maybe not, but to be perfectly honest, what is down here? There's something down here, something that is doing this. And if it's not dealt with, there's a much larger problem at stake. The world could be at stake. You saw what it did to a city of 10,000 strong. And it's only grown since then, whatever it is.
Juby might have some insight. She's been poring over this verses we found in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
In the wall?
I'm meant to ask about it when we got a chance. Are you familiar with... It seems like some sort of prophecy, maybe?
Do you say it?
I just show her the book. Don't look at this other page. That's personal.
Oh.
Okay, I will.
I put a hand over it while I'm showing.
Oh my god.
She looks at that and runs. She runs to like a stack of books and she knocks them all over and she's searching and she's flipping through things. And then she runs to another stack and she just flips through that too. And she keeps doing it and she keeps doing it until she finds what she was clearly looking for and brings it over to you and flips open to a page.
It's a better side than us not knowing us not knowing anything.
And she rips something out from the book.
And
she hands it to you. It is also in Dwarvish. Were these other in this language? Can you read this language?
Yeah, there is a footnote that says translated to common from Dwarvish.
Okay. Well, this does not bode well, but I think this might be the final verse.
Oh, final verse.
This doesn't... Okay, and you read this final part of the poem.
Final part's never a good sign.
No sleep remains, no heart still beat. Come rain or shine or pouring sleep, you dread to find and pale to meet. The sleeping dreadnought wakes. From the beginning to end, the poem is as follows.
Beware who cross these dreaded ties on knotted rope and wood with eyes with little luck and hopeless eyes. The sleeping dreadnought waits. On tepid steps and fruitless flights, on misty moors and starless nights, they shear the flesh and snuff the lights. The sleeping dreadnought bides its time. A clever child of ill repute, a wild, raving, thoughtless brute, a craven raven and priest astute. The sleeping dreadnought left them cold. No sleep remains, no heart still beat. Come rain or shine or pouring sleet, you dread to find and pale to meet. The sleeping dreadnought wakes.
And that is the poem.
Do you?
A silence briefly fills the room.
There are some of these things have come to happen. The dreaded ties, the knotted rope, and more. But when the stars disappeared out of the sky, 3 days ago? 4, maybe?
That was on the second night.
And Jubilee, if you could post the full copy.
Yeah.
Just to look it over.
Just got it.
And I don't know about the third verse. I don't recognize anything in that.
I mean, on the plus side, it doesn't talk about 5 of you, so
Probably not us.
really have to attribute it to yourself, although I can see why you'd be afraid.
Yes, because we did cross the bridge with eyes. That normally doesn't have eyes, I assume.
Where?
The bridge entering the city.
Okay, I should say this with context.
Oh shit!
I found this book briefly before you all arrived.
Found it?
Yes. It was left in my office. By someone, I assume. I have never seen this book before. She flips through all the pages of the book. They are blank. They are completely blank. This book is otherwise unremarkable and blank, except for that one page.
Well, this is disconcerting at the very least.
And at the most, a
Prophecy that spell the destruction of this and perhaps
the rest of the world.
yes.
Now, I'm not going to put too much stock into some words on a page.
I will say, the third verse was carved into the metal somewhat of the bridge that we passed.
Well, one assumes that whoever this dreadnought is probably very directly related to, if not behind, all of this.
With a name like Dreadnought, hard to not assume.
Mostly because the path that you all tread, thinking about it, I mean, that's the path out. So any units advancing would have written that, although Young Jubilee, you mentioned that some of these were carved right before where you entered, right? Briefly before the opening of the cave, the entrance to the pithy, right?
Just a little ways in, about maybe an hour.
None of this makes any sense.
The first one.
It can't be attributed to you. It can't be. They couldn't have known you were coming.
The skies. Hey Mel, was the terrain that we slept on some sort of moor?
Some sort of what?
The first night when we were outside, but when we were traveling,
Did we stay on any kind of moor? Is there any moors there?
It wasn't really a moor. Let me look up the definition of a moor.
Yeah, let's get the def of moor.
You know Scotland?
The boggy area?
Yeah.
I mean,
Any mist?
it was kind of misty the morning following, I believe I mentioned that. It wasn't really a moor, though. You were sleeping next to, like, a river.
Yeah,
so I guess it's a discount moor.
Okay. Just making sure.
More of a brook.
There are, I mean, there are water deposits further on in the... deeper and deeper into the caverns below, but that's outside of the Pithy. That's not even...
And I don't know why we would see the Starless Nights if we were under.
But I will say Okay. She takes a scroll out of her backpack and unfolds it on the table. It is a map, and she looks up at all of you and says, "I've been considering something. The problem clearly didn't start within the city. The rate of people being turned by whatever this is, it happened... It first happened to the people who were mining deeper and deeper into the cave, but before then even, it's not as if we dug too deeply or whatever. There's nothing that was nothing was uncovered that could have possibly done this. Before even that, deeper still into the earth, there were a couple of people on an outpost, and this outpost was doing some research on the pressure of gravity deeper and deeper into the face of Wesodrim. This entire planet. The idea that compression gets worse and worse as you go further and further down. They didn't come back. And that's after the miner... That was before the miners started getting whatever this was.
Do you think we might find some sort of cause if we go?
That is my assumption, but...
Romeo thinks to himself about what his personal cryptid said. And thinks on it a bit.
Well...
Don't go just yet. I still need to perfect this, and I need to understand if that's for sure, because we recently recovered one of the researchers' bodies, and sure enough, they had a nail, but it was lodged into their brain, which is the furthest progression we've seen. But I need to cross-reference it with a couple of other samples that we have.
All right.
I would ask you to stay for at least a couple of days, and more importantly, we can scour around and we can find you something. Some things to help you. If you are going to be going out there, we can't really supply you with anybody. We only have about
I wouldn't ask that.
No.
120-ish people who are functional here, and almost none of them are fighters. A lot of them are children.
Percy puts her one remaining hand up kind of on the table, just looks down at... I guess we're the fighters then.
I will do my best to aid you in any way possible. And as she is saying that, you hear a shout from the corridor coming in, and it is Demetrius Marm. And he is screaming something that you can barely hear as you hear things falling and collapsing from the hallway from whence you came.
I mean,
Romeo,
and as the world,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And as the world around you shakes and falls apart, that is, I think, where we're going to end this session.
Bruh.
Nolan's gone today.
Downtime, they'd say.
Well, it was gonna be, but we ran a little late, didn't we? Next session, then, I suppose.
After we fight the Collapsus.
So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate the response to this, and I love you all, my players. You are fantastic, and you are the reason this campaign runs so smoothly. Thank you all so much for being here and giving me the chance to really show you a good time and experiment with this sort of new format of D&D I'm doing. It's been a pleasure, as always.
D&D fun, you guys.
Bye, recording.
Bye, recording.
Bye, recording.